No!
Hello. Wait. Why do I look like this? Hold on. This is not the appropriate attire. Hold on. I know what happened. I know what happened. We're gonna hear some hoo so scary real quick. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It might hide me for a second. Don't worry about it. There we go. Hello. Hello, 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 hello. Oh no, it's Minnie from Famous Devil's Talk Show host. It's Minnie's of Mouse. It's Minnie's of Midnight. I hope you are all ready for some scarings. I hope you are all ready for some stories. I hope you are all ready for the goblins gonna get you. Hello. It's Hallowee. Did everybody do your Halloween homework? Did everybody put out your talismans and your warding spices to make sure that the ghosts don't come inside to get you? You looked weird without the teeth. Yeah, it was a mistake. It was a mistake. Ah! Hi, Pass! Thank you for the resubscribe. 19 is a lot of months. That's like somebody who could smoke last year. Wait. No, they changed that. They changed the smoking gauge. Do your smiling friends pumpkins count? Yes, those are wards and rituals, I think. Hi, Lily. Hello, 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 hello. So you've been feeling weird, got ghosts in your blood? You might have ghosts in your blood. Welcome in Kai, welcome in Lily, welcome in Jam, welcome in Tint, welcome in Pass. I hope you are all, yeah. I keep forgetting smoking's 21 now. When did that even happen? Is vaping also 21 or can anybody vape? Cursed Alan will scare the ghost. Alan is so cursed in the most beautiful way possible. My friends, my Halloween friends. Hashtag my Halloweens. Vaping is also 21? When you think about it, when does anyone anything? Well, today I'm Halloween. You think it's cocaine? I don't think there's any legal age to do cocaine. Or heroin. Oh wait, no. One of those does get rid of ghosts. Maybe both of them. If you think about it, heroin is just several sounds away from Halloween. Halloween. What happened between 2018 and 2021? Because remember, you could technically buy cigarettes, and then you technically couldn't because the law changed. You couldn't. You got old enough, but you never bought them anyway. I've always been old enough to buy cigarettes. Ever since I was born as a baby. They just kept selling me cigarettes. I told them I don't have any money. They just kept handing them to me. Never smoked any of them. I didn't want them. But here we are today. You bought cigarettes for your dad. Here we are today. You have them, the cigarettes? Yeah. Shoving them through the screen at you. I don't want these sticks. Baby needs to reek of smoke. Baby needs smoko. Remember Urinal Sandwich Man? Do we have an update? Did he eat a urinal sandwich? Wait, is that your guy who retired? He's getting a better job. Let's go. Let's go winning. Winning real. ABC, always be quit your job. Spelled with a hard C. It's the second stream in a row we talked about IV smoking. I will never. I like my lungs. Sometimes I accidentally inhale water while I'm drinking it, and that's miserable, and I don't even want to think about what smoke's like in there. Urinal cake inspector. He didn't retire, he's 39! Retired onto better pastures. I need to go get employed. That's the scariest of them all tonight, is I still got a job hunt, but I don't want to, but I have to, but I don't want to. I still have savings. But at some point, they're going to run out. Sometimes your stepmom asks her to get things while you're out, and every time you get annoyed because she knows you do not want them to have to retrieve them. Tell her to get her own. You need better pastures. We all need better pastures, except unless anybody's living in some great pastures right now, in which case, enjoy your pastures. Be quitting Michael's because of this. Good luck and Godspeed. I'm keeping an ear out. I don't think anybody should ring my doorbell. It's Halloween, but I live in an apartment that never gets trick-or-treaters, and I put a bowl of candy on a stool outside, so nobody has any excuse to try to get me this year. I've done it. Oh, I gotta make music happen. Hold on, we need scary sounds. Candy! Weird vibes, wild vibes, winter vibes, Xmas, toilet vibes, subway, string, spooky. Let me know. I'm gonna put the now playing up and none of you are gonna be able to read it on account of the mini-me's. But, let me know if the music's too loud or too quiet or too loud. Sat outside with Jack and 2 trick-or-treaters pet him, yay! Yeah, I figure anybody who's on the East Coast, it's probably reaching the hour where it's like, trick-or-treaters stop now, because it's getting too late. Sign that says, don't ring the doorbell, just take the candy and go. I can't write. I had like 12 trick-or-treaters total. Ever since I lived in California, I've been living in trick-or-treaterless spaces. My parents' house is like a weird street, so they get some kids sometimes. My apartment here, the like neighbors have their grandkids come visit sometimes, so they might actually be here, but I think they've rang the doorbell for Halloween once. Trick-or-treaters are knocking on your door at 9 p.m. They're gonna call you Michael Myers. Is 9 p.m. late for trick-or-treaters? When is the usual trick-or-treat hours? Because, like, it doesn't even get dark until 7. Trick-or-treating there is like 5 to 7 and no one comes after that. You have to be out when it's dark. You have to be out when it's dark. 10 does seem late. 10 feels like the cutoff. 10 feels like some houses might still have their lights on. I'm trying to remember from when I was a child 1 million years ago. Happy pastures, everyone. I'm gonna steal the candy. Everyone come to my house and take my candy. Actually, don't. I'm looking forward to eating it in the future. I buy candy mostly so that I can eat it after Halloween. Roll up to Ivy's to steal the candy, called dibs on eating the bowl. No, I like the bowl. It's a good size bowl. It's a big plastic bowl with Halloween painted on it. Pumpkins and bats. The nice boy does not want to hurt anyone, but he has so much energy, he jumps on you, so kids don't like that. That's okay. Some kids are so scared of dogs that get big and jump. It's 10:18. If someone trick-or-treats, you'll be like, question marks? Where are your parents? Kids don't trick-or-treat with their parents anymore. Wait, no, they probably do. Little kids do. What's the age where you stop? Not stop trick-or-treating, but stop trick-or-treating with your parents. Like 10? What a dead end. Watch 15 people skip your house. You're in bed. Simply don't get up. Remember, you stayed out way later as kids. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I feel like I remember like midnight was definitely way too late because all the lights would be off. I don't think 11 was out, but I feel like 10. I feel like 10 was the cutoff. You'd like start at 7 and then you'd go until like 9 to 10 is when houses started turning their lights off. As an elementary school kid, you were home by now? I was out trick-or-treating by myself in like the 4th grade. It's allowed. Didn't hand out candy this year. Neighborhood's quiet. Have king-size bars left in your impending time of the month is eyeing the fucking chocolate. It's chocolate hour. You can eat it. Went to the party across the street, but you had schoolwork. You could have done so much earlier. Urinal sandwich former boss sent you an Instagram link. Instant grand. Today we are here on this hallowed night to drink of the stories of the internet. Halloween. I googled good creepypastas Reddit before stream, like 5 minutes before stream, and so I have a couple open. Instant gramification, instant grandma. I don't actually know if these are any good at all, but this is what the links brought me. If anybody has any requests for creepypastas that they know, or any requests for, like, let's see if we can find a Mr. Actually, I wonder if we can find a Mr. Meaty creepypasta. Oh, yes. Let me just blast all this real quick. Oops. Not picker. I want zapper. Let me just kill this real quick. Kill this real quick. Get so zoomed in. Mr. Creepy Meaty Pasta. This is a good video. Put it in memes if people want to watch it on their own. Miss Meaty Pasta Chicken Alfredo. That's a creamy pasta. Who up meat posting? You are, apparently. God, I love killing elements. U-Block Origin Element Zapper, my beloved. My absolute beloved. I love to zap everything I don't want to see away. This is under Nickelodeon Lost Episodes Demon Devil. We'll start off with this. I went back earlier today. I went back through the previous year's creepypastas. Let me go ahead and just read them out. What we read. We've been doing this since 2022. In 2022, Demon Devil, that's you. 2022, we read Dead Bart, Guns, a Booba creepypasta, Who Was Phone, Squidward Suicide, The Day of All the Blood, SCP-1981, that's the one where it's a Ronald Reagan video, Candle Cove, Caillou Lost Episode, Sonic EXE, and Splatoon creepypasta, The Bloodlings. In 2023, we read Dead Neopets creepypasta Winky Face, Why I Hate Lightning McQueen, Hero Brine, Donkey Kong 64, the unsold copy. I legitimately don't remember that one at all. Bob Ross Lost Episode, and Garfield's Horrible Day. In 2024, that's last year, we read Jeff the Killer, Gilligan Island, Isla's Jack, and The Supermarket Monster. And today, we're gonna read some more Scaries stories. It's gonna be okay. If you get too scared, remember you can always say too scary and Furby will come protect you. If you ever get not scared enough, you can do exclamation point jump scare and a thing will pop out. I think those are the only things that matter. So without further ado, let's go ahead and read us some Mr. Meaty Lost Episode, Meatless Void. Before I begin, this is entirely dedicated to La Fonda Pasta. If you're reading this, you've made some excellent stories, and I figured to write it in inspiration. All I can say is, thank you and keep writing stories. Enjoy. I couldn't fathom on what had just conspired in the events that played in my head. Never had I ever experienced something this completely unhinged and fucked up beyond belief. I still have nightmares, daydreams, and the bleak endless nights of constant sleep deprivation for weeks, trying to wrap my mind around the episode. So right off the bat, they're having nightmares and daydreams, but they're not sleeping. Or does it still kind of I guess sleep deprivation if you wake up from your nightmares? Let's get things straight. It's 2005, 20 years ago. I was a teen at the time, and I was, as people would call me, a strange individual. This ended up being the start of this one Nickelodeon show I had a strange attachment for. One show that was so beyond anything that I couldn't believe it myself. 20 years ago. It was for the show Mr. Meaty, a dark comedy show about teens working at a meat restaurant. That's... I mean, there's got to be a better way to describe that, right? Like a burger place, a barbecue joint. What would you call Arby's? A fast food restaurant? 2005 remembers me of your birthday. Sorry, that's scary. Jack keeps barking, but no one is there. It's the ghosts. The scariest part. With some often goofy and disturbing hijinks. I keep remembering an episode I watched during the premiere of the show. The episode was called Meatless Void. I remember sitting on the couch, hand on the remote, and changing it to Nickelodeon to prepare for the episode. What came next was what got me baffled, completely disturbed, and even screamed at the TV in horror. The episode started with the normal intro as always until it immediately cut to the title card, Meatless Void. I didn't bother taking a picture since I didn't want to spread spoilers, but now I wish I had taken a picture. The title card was weirdly depicted as a TV with multiple eyes with floating blood red wings. Do people take pictures of their TV shows? One of my favorite things about creepypastas is trying to trace the lines of logic. So, it says it's the premiere of the show, which would mean the first episode. So how would you know that the Luigi house, but it mansion? It's the premiere, so you've never seen it before because it's new. So how would you know the normal intro? I guess as an afterthought. I've seen you take photos of the streams you watch. Okay. You got me there. But I didn't have a smartphone in 2005, so I wouldn't have taken pictures of the TV because it was 20 years ago. I didn't get a smartphone until... I didn't have a phone with a camera until... 2012? 2013? Had a 3DS in 2011. A DSi. Maybe I could have taken pictures with that. Great minds in this chat. Maybe the episode premiere and not the series premiere, I guess. Their grammar is just strange, I suppose. The premiere of the show, the premiere of the episode. The episode began with the mall and then into the restaurant. One Mr. Meaty special, Josh said, giving a tray to a customer. That sets for our lunch break on our first day, Josh said to Parker. Finally, Parker sighed as the two took off their hats and slumped behind the register. Who knew working at a meat restaurant was something, right, Josh? Parker asked. Silence. Josh? Parker asked. Following Josh's face, he was staring at something in the corner. In the corner of the cabinets amongst the fryers and grills was a purple marking on the wall. Josh and Parker got up quietly and moved the cabinets away. They found what looked like a TV with a purple screen. Fun note is that I found that picture hidden in my camera roll. I wanna, Josh said hesitantly. I think we should check it out, Parker said. As the two investigated it further, there was an incantation. Wait, how did you get the picture of the title card if you didn't take a picture of the title card? You said you took a picture of the purple market. I'm seeing discrepancies already. This is just fanfic. Every creepypasta is just fanfic. It's stinky. It must be a ghost. Couldn't be your beautiful baby boy. It's always your beautiful baby boy. He farted. It stinks so bad. He farted. It stinks so bad. He barks at it. Didn't the show start as shorts? Yes, but I don't think the shorts had openings, did they? Quit trying to logic the creepypasta. It's all that I know. Anyway, here's the purple TV incantation. I call upon the ancient gods, rid us of evil and take what's rightfully ours. Corrupt our world and make it your own. We follow the Diabolos in the Televisione. We follow the Diabolus in the Televisione. He's upset because your mom's not home. Barks of summoning mom. Televisione. Diablo. Are you making fake Latin? Suddenly a purple arm launched through the screen. Parker screamed as the hand made a wild grab for Josh. Get your greasy, dirty hands off my friend, you purple bully! Parker shouted as he tried to grab the hand, but he was thrown backwards and subsequently fell in the deep fryer. Ow. Parker lets out this ungodly scream. Almost fearful, in pain and torturous amounts. I could hear the scream. It drove me nearly insane from how depressingly torturous it sounded. Josh was dragged into a purple world. He arrived at the mall, but everyone was different. They were purple, with striking red eyes and black horns. Their voices were echoey, almost demonic. The security guard, Doug, came out slowly. Welcome to your new life, son, Doug said ominously. I'm glad that Doug is in it. For me will protect you. Did you think there not a lot of creepypastas? We're gonna find that out next. Hold on. I've learned my lesson from past internet creepypasta streams, which is stop Googling things in the browser that's on screen, because it'll inevitably try to dox my location in the browser bar. So just have 2 browser windows open and search things in the one that's not on screen and then drag them over. Well, when I Google Nautilon creepypasta, the first thing that comes up is Nautilon Know Your Meme. There's some YouTube videos. The creepypasta song has some banger lines, including I'm pro Jared and I cheated on my wife. What? Why are there so many Know Your Meme pages for Nautilon creepypasta, but no, like, actual creepypastas? Huh. I'm shaking in my fucking boots. It's so fine. Don't worry. This is just like so far this is kind of like a regular episode of Mr. Meaty. Not a purple world. I could see them going to a purple world through a TV where everybody's demons in Mr. Meaty. 2 hands grab onto Josh's arms, pinning him against the wall. Josh let out a series of panic screams as the camera slowly pans out with Josh being taken by the purple demons. The episode ended with the slow pan of the camera carrying out into the mall itself. Sat there with no one around except for a deep-fried Parker. Then the episode glitched and the Nickelodeon error screen appeared. I was mortified, beyond baffled, so baffled, in fact, I screamed. I screamed so loud I woke up my roommates. I had to explain to them about the events that unfolded and even showed them the picture. Wait. Who are your roommates? Are you at like a boarding school? Or you say you're a teen. Are you like in like your first year of college? How does this scary you? But they brushed it off, claiming it was a nightmare. For years, I accepted the fact that it was all a nightmare manifested from me and accepted that it was all in my head, but now I fully accept the true reality of it after finding a deleted post on the forum called Nickelodeon Forever. To this day, I don't know what to believe anymore. Is it me? Or is it my head? What? The portal that Parker and Josh found in the episode. The purple TV. And this is the Meatless Void screen. That's the same TV.
Wow.
We can't read what the comments are. Wow, scary. It's maybe a little bit scary. I don't think Parker getting deep fried is supposed to be scary because I feel like he's been in the deep fryer before in the regular episodes. What does I don't remember is there a Nickelodeon error screen? I have some questions and concerns. I think this maybe was just me or you head. That makes sense why I was throwing it so casually then. Fascinating. So the other things I have open is I have Abandoned by Disney, which is supposed to be a classics of creepypasta. I have Ted's Caving Page, which it's an Angel Fire website from 2001. NES Godzilla Creepypasta Chapter 1 Earth and Mars. We've got the Bogleach creepypastas. We read one of them in previous years. We read the Day of All the Blood. But I think any of these are probably good. This is the Wikipedia de-googling best creepypastas. Something about Baraska. And I've got crouton.web in case anybody needs to be blinded. Crouton.net. Let's see. Sorry, what is this song now? Mini-Me's, can you move? Oh, it's Luigi's Mansion. Barack Obama. Not that. It's, Baraska. I'm gonna zap another element. Zap that real quick. Zoom in so good. Luigi house, but a mansion. We can read NES Godzilla Creepypasta Chapter 1 Earth and Mars. Luigi house. Barack Obama. When I was a little kid, the two things I loved most in life were Godzilla and NES games. So naturally, when Godzilla Monster of Monsters came out, it was like a dream come true. Well, almost. To sum it up, most of the game revolved around getting through very repetitive outer space levels while smashing up tanks and jets, then fighting against Godzilla's monster enemies. Overall, it was pretty mediocre, but back then, I didn't care. When I got the game as a present for my 10th birthday, I played it night and day, as much as I could. Unfortunately, I had traded the game for Amagon a year later. I don't know what that is, but I bet it's another NES game. Much to my regret, when I found out what that game was like. Recently, I had bought a new NES system, and through a lot of hunting and asking around, my friend Billy managed to finally find a copy of Godzilla Monster of Monsters. I was pumped to play my favorite childhood game. It never even occurred to me to ask where Billy found it. He also gave me some other games like Legend of Zelda, Bomberman, some stupid thing called Action 52. But Godzilla had to come first. Billy. So I started the game, and the nostalgia came flooding back like a tidal wave. Godzilla's 8-bit theme song flooded proudly through the speakers, and I was soon grinning like an idiot. Smile. Some people laugh at me for playing such outdated games, but I've never had as much enjoyment for any games other than those on the NES. Those 8-bit games take me back to when things were much simpler, more safe. But after what's happened with this game, I don't have those feelings anymore. I'd forgotten how quick the fun of smashing things as Godzilla wore off in the scrolling levels. The game bombards you with bullets and things crashing into you from every direction, and you're too big to avoid most of them. Although my excitement had worn down some, it wasn't long at all before I got to my first boss battle. My first opponent was Ghidorah, an obscure squid kaiju who had never been in a Godzilla movie. The most annoying thing about fighting Ghidorah is that he always backs you into a corner and starts smacking you with his tentacle. and you're unable to move until he gets off you. This move doesn't do any damage, but it can stall you until the timer runs out and you have to start the fight over, and you regain some health. It's as annoying as it sounds, and of course he did it when I fought him. Only, for some reason, this caused the game to glitch up, because once he started smacking me, he never stopped. The timer's supposed to end the fight about 40 seconds, but this lasted for nearly 5 minutes. After a while, the graphics started to mess up with little red blocks all over the place. Love the tentacle. Smacking him. So this is the graphics, and those are the red blocks. And that's Gezora, and that's Gojira. Which was weird, but I just took the game out, blew on it, and started again. I was about to let a little glitch stand in my way. So I started again, and this time defeated Gezora and the level's other boss monster, Moguera, without any problems. So then it was on to the next planet, Mars. I browsed around the board to find something unexpected. I forgot I had night coffee. Your favorite tentacle is the one that has a knife tentacle? How are you gonna turn it off when it's swinging that knife all over the place? You just gotta live that life now. Tape it to a Roomba. Now it's mobile. I love night coffee. Day of the Tentacle. That's a videos game, maybe. I browsed around the board and found something unexpected. Where Varen's piece should have been, there was instead a piece representing Titanosaurus. There were only 10 kaiju in the game, and Titanosaurus was not one of them. Or so I thought. Perhaps Titanosaurus was originally intended to be in the game, but was swapped out with Varen for some reason. Titanosaurus Life 12. So I began to feel very excited. Not only was I playing my favorite game, but I was playing a prototype of some fish from San Diego. San Diego. San Diego. Killer Titanosaurus from San Diego. From San Diego. San Diego. Playing a prototype of some sort with a new monster. Needless to say, I ran through the levels as fast as I could to see Titanosaurus in action. Couldn't remember if it was Schaefer or Schaefer. The way I remember is you can make an anagram of his name that's Mr. Shitface, and apparently he really doesn't like that. Tim Schaefer video game. He's the guy, he's the Double Fine guy, right? Killer Fish and Godzilla are the same syllables. Godzilla from San Diego. Titanosaurus. Godzilla. San Diego. Fought Gezora again and beat him before he could do his tentacle smack, but this time the glitch started happening when he died. Gezora's sprite didn't sink to the bottom, but instead seemed to be devoured by the glitch, and his eyes started randomly spawning all over the screen. That's his eye. Mr. Fish, Killer Fish, Killer Fish, Gezora, Gojira, Gezora, Godzilla, Gezora, Godzilla. Now I know these glitches with Gezora were my first warning sign that something was very wrong with this game. Killer fish, fish, fish from San Diego. But foolishly, I ignored it and proceeded to fight Moguera, who this time had a glitch of his own. Moguera's own special glitchy. Moguera was twice the size he should have been, which startled me. He was also considerably harder to beat than usual, which is to say, not at all. But soon I had defeated him also, and when he died, yet another glitch happened. He scrunkled. This happened extremely fast, so I was lucky to get a screen cap of it at all. But what happened was that the giant Moguera's sprites started to shatter and melt. Also, if you look at the garbled text at the right corner of the screen, you'll notice what appears to be a bird in a cage. I still have no idea what it means. What? That? Under the bats? Caged bird? Level 4. At this point, I was about to fight Titanosaurus, and I was worried as to what kind of glitches would happen this time, but to my surprise, Titanosaurus looked just fine. Although all of the game's bipedal monsters were the same height, Titanosaurus was a bit taller. But since Titanosaurus was actually taller than Godzilla in his film debut, I thought this was kinda cool. That's Titanosaurus. It's interesting how the bad guys have a full black outline, but Godzilla don't. After a very fun fight with the monster that wasn't supposed to be in the game, I took over the enemy base and proceeded not to Jupiter like normal, but instead to Pathos. Pathos. How many chapters are there? Hold on. 8 chapters? Dementia? Entropy? How long is this creepy's pasta? Pathos was the same as Jupiter in layout, except the board was dark blue rather than green. The first thing I noticed was that all the usual level icons have been replaced by a blue rock and some kind of orange honeycomb shape. There was one icon that had part of the jungle icon shape, but I didn't pay much thought to it. I checked the other side of the board to see the new monster. Instead of Hedera, it was Biolante. 8 chapters and an epilogue, but you just looked at it. Okay, that tells me how many chapters there were, but it doesn't tell me how long it is. Because what if the chapters are exponential in length? Or what if they get shorter every time? That couldn't have been right. Godzilla vs. Biolante didn't come out until 1989, and this game was made in 1988. Perhaps Toho put Biolante in the game to build excitement for the movie next year. But changed their minds? Tried to rationalize the game's abnormalities any way I could, but this would prove to be futile. What I like about this one is so far it makes sense. Buddy's got a glitchy video game, but also it's not scary. Will this change? Only time will telling. Pathos' map song was the first new song I heard in the game. Like most of the new songs, it was hard to describe. I'll try. It started out slow and suspenseful, much slower than any song in the game. But every 12 seconds or so, there would be a loud clashing sound, and the tempo changed. It was like the composer randomly played parts from the 5 different songs with the same instruments. I moved Godzilla over to one of the many blue rock icons that had replaced the jungle icons and started the level. The level resembled a blue mountain range with blood-red planet in the sky, but there was something odd about the mountains. They had a shredded paper look to them. I thought at first maybe the glitch had affected it, but it looked far too intentional. That's the red planet. That's the scrungled paper. I quickly noticed something else about this new level. There were no enemies. Not at all. Not even any obstacles. I should also mention that this is where the point meter started to become glitched beyond comprehension, but it didn't bother me much. I never kept up with game points. So without having to focus on anything, I listened to the music while walking through the level unopposed. The music had a sorrowful feel to it. It would have been rather pleasant had I heard it in a normal game. The level went on for 3 screens, but with no obstacles around, I finished it very quickly. I tried other levels of the same type to see if any enemies appear, but there were none. There was little else to be seen in the Blue Mountains, so I tried the other level type. I started one of the orange levels, and my eyes were assaulted with a grotesque background of tumorous orange eyes. The sky was the same as the ground, so I assumed the game was indicating this level takes place in a cave. Cave. The only enemies were Matango spawn, but as you can see, the little bastards were everywhere. The music certainly didn't help, with a mixture of screeching sounds and loud drum beats that sounded like a monster's theme in a horror film. After completing it, I tried to avoid playing through any more of these levels whenever I could. The map was short, so it was only a few minutes before I headed towards a rematch with Gezora and Moguera, but this time their sprites and attack patterns were vastly different. I fought Moguera first. Moguera's replacement was a flying machine with a slight resemblance to Pascagoula alien. It was a bit like fighting Mothra, only it moved with a lot more grace. It attacked by spinning its front tentacle like a corkscrew, and it still had an eye beam, except now it fired from the drill. I love Godzilla kaiju designs. Like, they just put pieces together and it rules. This lanky aberration had replaced Gezora, and the new beast was more of a challenge. It would run and jump at a fast pace, constantly swinging its arms and making it hard to get close. And of course, it tried to pin me in a corner with as much annoying resolve as ever. I defeated it using a combination of tail whips and a heat beam spinning. Yo, that's the lanky aberration. Thank you, Nightbot. I defeated them and was going to fight Titanosaurus, but when I started the fight, Titanosaurus was nowhere to be seen, and the game simply went back to the map with the Titanosaurus piece now missing. There was no one left to fight now but Biolante, so I eagerly started the battle. I was quite surprised that Biolante started the fight in her rose form, She was immobile and used tentacles to keep me away from the main body, which took the most damage. Rose form. As expected, she turned into her final form after taking enough damage. The sprite looked pretty damn good for 8-bit. Pretty damn good for 8-bit. The battle technique was the same, but now Biollante could move, albeit slower than any other monster. Being hit by the tentacles did more damage now, and Biollante could do an acid spit, which I managed to avoid by jumping into the screen cap. There's the corrupted points. No birdcage. Biollante. Not much more difficult to beat than Titanosaurus. It only took 2 rounds, but when Biollante was gone, the music had stopped, and there was a new icon replacing the base. A fish. No, a scary mask. This icon wasn't there before I beat Biollante. It resembled a red tribal mask, and I had a feeling of dread when I saw it. But since it replaced the base, it must be the only way to exit Pathos. I moved Godzilla to the square and started the level. Run. It was a hellish-looking place with no sky and a flickering fire in the background. The fire looked far more advanced than anything I've seen on the NES. There was, quote-unquote, music in the form of a slow, steady drum sound resembling a heartbeat. All the text on the top of the screen and the life bar were gone, and in their place was a single bit of text in the middle of the screen that said, Run. My feeling of dread had intensified. I cautiously walked through the level, but like the Blue Mountains, there were no enemies. I paced around for a minute before thinking, run? From what? The first time it hit me, I didn't even see it. I heard a noise outside my room and turned to see if something fell, and when I looked back, Godzilla was dying. I figured it must have just been a glitch, but I wasn't going to play through the game without Godzilla, so I restarted the game and went to the password screen. Have I ever mentioned how creepy the password screen music is? If you've played the game, you know what I mean. It doesn't at all fit the mood of the game. It's more like something from a horror game. Maybe they made it like that so kids wouldn't cheat. I was quite annoyed at this point because I thought I was going to have to fight all the monsters again, but that didn't happen. The game started me off right where I was before. I started the red face level, so I tried again, making sure to pay attention this time. That's when I heard a low, bellowing sound, and then I saw it. This thing. Do you know that feeling your body has when you feel like you're in extreme danger? You start to recoil and tense up as the adrenaline flows through your veins, and your nerves start to feel very cold. No. That's the feeling I had when I took this screen cap. Run. The scary monster. It's got 6 spider legs and a big frown so you know it's angry. I haven't seen all the Godzilla movies, but I'm pretty damn sure this was never in any of them. It had to be something the creators made up. But what kind of sick fuck would put this in a children's game? My sheer dumb luck, or perhaps the adrenaline boost, I managed to run fast enough to get away from it. It ran very fast, so much so that if you saw it, you were almost certainly going to die. And when I say die, I mean your monster gets killed instantly if the creature touches them. Once I had gone back to the map, I was so afraid that I was extremely tempted to just shut the game off and try to pretend this never happened. I couldn't believe what I had just seen. It couldn't have been real. And even if I wanted to continue, I still had to get Mothra through this chase level. But as I stayed inactive on the map screen for a few minutes, my fear was replaced by burning curiosity. What the hell had just happened? What was the rest of the game like? I only had to beat this level with Mothra and then it was on to the next world. But when I moved Mothra to the red face, the game registered it as me beating the level. I was quite relieved. I tried to prepare myself for the next world. Trance. I'm invested now. Let's go. I'm gonna zap some stuff real quick. Zap you, zap you, zap you. I was still pretty shook up from the last level when I started Trance. Trance's map music did nothing to ease the tension. As for how to describe it, have you ever heard the theme from Videodrome? Maybe. That's the closest thing I could think of to compare it to. I checked to see who the new monster was, and it was Orga, a monster who didn't make his film debut until 2000, appearing in a game that was made in 1988. So much for my theories about Titanosaurus and Biolante. There's no way this game was made in 1988. Those guys at Toho may be smart, but I'm sure they couldn't see that far into the future. If they could, they never would have given Roland Emmerich the rights to make a Godzilla movie. But I don't know which Godzilla movie that's referencing. No, this had to be a hack of some kind, which just opened up even more questions. Who made this hack? When? How? And most importantly, why? The why was the question that bothered me the most. My immediate assumption was to think Billy did this to pull a joke on me. But that couldn't be right either. Billy didn't know how to make a ROM hack. And if he did, he'd probably just do something simple and stupid, like replacing all the monsters with crudely drawn genitalia. Unless Billy had amazing video game editing skills and a serious dark streak to his imagination that he never told me about, he couldn't have made this. Is it even possible to put a hacked ROM onto a cartridge? Yeah. You have to get a flash cart. Aside from all that, actually you could probably do it another way too, but flashcart's the easiest. Aside from all that, my eye was drawn to a new icon on the map, a question mark. I was really curious as to what it did. That makes sense on account of a question mark is the curiosity symbol. I'm sure you're also curious. I'll explain the quiz levels now, since that was when they started appearing. There was one of these per map from here on, and they always appeared near the start of the map. When you start on a quiz level, you appear on a screen like this. Do you like dogs? This beautiful face. Do you like dogs? Yes? No? Yeah. Of course I like dogs. I'm clicking yes. I'm clicking yes. I love dog. As you can see, there's a question at the top, a yes and no button, and an emoticon in the center. I refer to the emoticon as face. Real creative, I know. And for convenience, I'll refer to face as the one asking the questions. The music for the quiz levels was a track actually in the game. It's the one that plays when you try to use the Ghidorah, but in LeetSpeak, cheat, and get sent to an unplayable level. Face asks you 12 yes or no questions, and you move your monster to the buttons for your answers. When you answer, the question disappears, and Face changes expressions for about 8 seconds, then goes back to neutral and a new question comes up. There was no time limit, nor any right or wrong answers. Face has no respect for the player's personal boundaries, and will sometimes ask deeply disturbing and personal questions. For example, do you like hurting people? Have you ever, killed anyone? Have you ever been attacked? We're self-censoring here. Other times, he would ask questions that were either mind-numbingly stupid, is the sun hot, is water wet, or just flat out ridiculous. Does your dog like the president? I don't have a dog. But if he did, he wouldn't like the president. And maybe once per quiz, Face would ask you a question about the game. With one exception. I'm gonna ask Jack right now. We need Jack's input, please. Thank you. With woof. Your dogs don't like the president. Jack does not like the president. President Curl
says good evening. I feel at home.
Hi, Atlas. Hello, hello, hello. Can you ask Paisley if she likes the president, yes or no? It seems like currently it's no's across the board, which is understandable. The dog council is in agreement. Dogs do not like the president. Haven't yet, but he bet it's no. I am sipping my night coffee. We're in the middle of reading Godzilla's creepypasta, Godzilla NES game creepypasta. I'm a little curious about where it's going to go. I don't know very much about Godzilla, but you're home from Hallow's weenie party. Did you have a fun? Did you have a good time? Did you get so scared or so brave? Did you get to pet Winnebago? A car?
No!
Or is that the name of a beast? Thank you, Nightbot. Had a bad time? No! Did the ghouls get you? Did the Halloween ghouls and ghosts and goblins get you? Winnebago's a kitty cat. It's a good name for a cat. Yippee! Yippee! Nightbot loves that Winnebago is the name of a cat, with one exception. Face's expression seems to have no effect on the game, except for indicating what the game creator thought of your answer. His reactions rarely made any sense, and at first I thought they were randomly generated. Social gathering masquerading as a party. Was it one of those parties where they didn't have any activities to do and everybody just stood and talked? Instead of going to party, you ate cereal and learned how to cite a system of a down song in APA format. Basically, lol. Dang. Did everybody at least talk about what anime they've been watching? Because that's my favorite party conversation. If people at a party aren't discussing what anime they've watched over the years and their top 10 animes, then that's not a party worth going to. Already low on spoons, you're not having a good time from the start? Tragic. You should all come to my house for a special IFE party. We can sit on the couch and scroll through my entire Plex library and then comment on the anime as we see them and say, I never watched that anime, but I heard people said it was good. Or, yo, this anime actually rules. We should all watch it. And you'll have to, but I'm poor. You're gonna have to start walking. I'm so sorry. It's the only way. I love my night's coffee. Just spent 3 hours watching Mike Tyson. I have added, but your dogs can walk. They love a walk. Take your dogs for a walk all the way to California. I've gotten all of the Mike Tyson on my Plex now. And also some sort of Dolly movie. And also, some old anime that I forgot existed. The questions never followed a pattern. Face never stayed the same on the same subject for more than 2 questions. Early on, there were questions that made me think Face was building up to something, only to then ask some stupid garbage. Percy, get the leashes, we're going on a 1,900-mile walk. The bones are their dollars. Dollars bones. Here are the expressions of Face that I saw while playing. I'll separate them into 2 categories, the expressions I understood and the expressions I didn't. Here are the expressions I understood. So neutral, angry, sad, happy, ick, evil, surprised, hard eyes, I don't actually know. 10 is like is unsure, confused. 9 is like annoyed, maybe? 10 is like, I didn't expect you to say that and I don't like what you said. 11 is sad. Maybe even fear. You were 3, but now you're 4. I'm glad you're 4 now. Which one are you? I'm 6. I'm so evil right now. You're 12. That's not that. Well, we haven't gotten to 12 yet, I think. Who up being a 9 on this Halloween's night? Neutral, his default expression. 2, angry. If you try to attack Face, his expression changes to this, but nothing else happens. 3, sad. 4, happy. 5, sick. 6, maniacal. Face made this expression when he was being an asshole. You'll see what I mean later. 7, surprised. 8, love. 9, annoyed. 10, confused. 11, guilty, hurt. And here are the other. Oh shit! Wait. Okay. 10. Are you still 12? Okay, now tag yourself for real this time. You're still 12. I'm an 8. Take it back. You're 6. I'm a 7. I'm somewhere between a 7 and an 8. Okay, so this is fucked up in the club. This is okay. Be serious. How serious? 3 is you just got kicked really hard in the stomach. 4 is classy. 5 is you just got kicked really hard in the shins. 6 is Cyclops. Everybody has that emotion. 7, upside down emoticon. Everybody has this emotion. 8, Bucktooth. 9, Ninja. 10, Clown. 11, Closing your eyes. 12, Too cool for school. 4 is a Toontown plutocrat. 4 is like new money or old money. So everyone seems like it has ghosts in its blood as you. All of them a little bit, honestly. Oh shit, wait, you're not wrong. That's the plutocrat. Two of these only appeared once, numbers 1 and 12, and I suspected they might have been in-jokes from the creators. Number 1 and 12, okay. The respective questions were, do you like ice cream and are you a tough guy? Do you like ice cream or are you a tough guy? Return from the art abyss. Wait, an art fee? Hold on. Hat in Time music is very bop. I want to see. Yo! You drew this on your phone with the lasso tool? How the fuck? How the fuck? That's not possible. IncredibleArt.com? I'm gonna eat this real quick. If I eat it, I can't look at it. So we're gonna put it up here. No, we're gonna put it down here with the mini fees. It could be mini fee number 7. I have no idea how you did it either. Are you perhaps a wizard? Or a warlock? Are you perhaps casting spells? Did you play a cursed NES cartridge that makes you incredibly good at art? I'm gonna drink more night coffee. Keep Ibis paint on your phone just in case you want to drain your battery so fast and make a tiny art. The secret 7th minifee, Le Sorcière. I have Clip Studio on my phone and I have Medibang Paint on my phone. Those are my phone art programs that I tell myself I'm gonna use and then I never do. As for the questions on the first quiz, luckily I had a notepad and pen handy. I have problems remembering things, so I often carry one around to jot things down. Sometimes I doodle in it when I'm bored. So when the first quiz started, I thought I'd record what happened. I'm glad I did. Here are the first series of questions, my answers and faces reactions. Quiz 1. Do you like the game? Answer yes, reaction happy. Question 2. Are you afraid? Answer yes, reaction surprised. Question 3, are you over 18? Answer yes, reaction weird face 5. Hates that you're an adult. 4, do birds have teeth? Answer no, reaction love. 5, is peanut butter good? Answer no, reaction sick. Shaking your hand. Shaking your hand face. Everybody, peanut butter's so good. Do birds have teeth? No. Love. Peanut butter is so good. Yeah, I would make, I'd make this face too if I asked somebody if peanut butter was good and they said no, and if they're allergic, that's an excuse. Does the moon rotate? Answer yes. Reaction weird face 11. Yeah. That tracks. Have you had a job? Answer yes. Reaction confused. Why would you ever be employed? Question 8, do you like hurting people? Answer no, reaction annoyed. Is the sun hot? Answer yes, reaction sad. Do you like dogs? Answer yes, reaction happy. Is the president good? Answer yes, reaction weird face number 3. Yeah, I'd make that face too if somebody answered that, but I don't know when this is set. I don't think this was written during the Trump presidency. I'm gonna guess this was during Obama's term. It's a valid reaction to any American president. Yeah. Does your dog like the president? Answer no. Reaction angry. Could fuck up some pistachios right about now. I have zero desire to consume a pistachio in this moment. This is the IFE status update. Now that I've explained that, time for gameplay. After the quiz level, I tried the new green temple icon first. Yo, that's graphics. Does your dog like peanut butter? Yes. Face, love. Wow, maybe this is why the game was so weird. One of the designers was clearly drugged out of his mind. Wow. 3 eyeballs and 2 hands, and the hands are shaped funny. What are they, on drugs or something? Jokes aside, I was quite impressed by the graphics of this level, and as disorienting as they were, but I hate those creepy blank staring face statues' faces. The music had a hypnotic Indian techno vibe to it. Drugs are the only explanation for whimsy. Himsy. Amazing. There were 2 new enemies in this level, a flying ghost type thing with a trunk, and a bat with a horse skull for a face. They appear at random, but I was lucky to get a screen cap of them both. Yo, wait, kinda sick with it. Then I proceeded to a Blue Mountain level, expecting another nice calm stroll. I took my time walking through and was completely taken by surprise when this happened. Oh, it's the guy from earlier. Maguera, no. Yeah, not Maguera. Maguera with the tentacle. Not Maguera came speeding towards me and took off quite a bit of health with his tentacle screws. It only took me 2 minutes to kill him without having to worry about a time limit, but the boss monsters never showed up in the scrolling levels in the normal game. I was worried as to what other rules this game would break. After another Blue Mountain stage, it was time to fight Not Varen, whose replacement was one of the most bizarre things in the game. It's a friend. This strange creature attacks you by kicking, and also opening up his chest and firing a heat-seeking missiles. I still don't get it. That's sick. The missiles were sometimes a pain to deal with, but I found out you could tail whip them out of the way. Not Varen was probably the easiest of the monster replacements. The same could not be said for Not Hedorah. Yo, that's worm. Apparently the source of the horse bats, Not Hedorah, was the most aggravatingly difficult monster to fight yet. Mostly because of his special ability. He could shriek and summon a small swarm of those horse bat things. Worm. That's a worm. I know there's only 2 in the screen cap, but every time he did this, about 10 would arrive. The AI took advantage of the distraction and attacked twice as fast while the horse bats are flying around. Frightened. Hi, Asmund. Don't be scared. If you say too scary, Furby will come protect you. Godzilla's never done scary. Furby will come protect you. Everything will be okay. We had a president that was only in office for like a month. Don't know if he did anything bad in that month. Is this NES Godzilla creepypasta time? Yes. We started the stream with a Mr. Meaty creepypasta, and now we're 3 chapters deep in the Godzilla NES game creepypasta. There's 8 chapters and an epilogue. I'm curious to see where it goes. I want to know if we see more of faces. I'm sure we will. More quiz show. Worm. Once that annoyance was over with, I went through a green temple level to kill some enemies to restore my health. Interestingly, none of the horse bats showed up after Not Hedorah was killed. And that was when I got an idea. If killing all the monsters makes the red face show up, what would happen if I avoid fighting Orga and go straight to the base? So I gave that a try. There is no monster here. The game told me there was no monster there when I tried to start the base level, and immediately afterwards the game took control of my Godzilla piece and moved it in front of Orga. My little trick didn't work, so I tried to prepare myself for another chase. But first I had to beat Orga. The fight with Orga confirmed another thing. Whoever created this game hack was clearly a Godzilla fan. Not only because they picked a monster like Orga, but because they actually implemented something that happened in Godzilla 2000 in a really neat way. family owned a plantation. Go to hell forever, President. Orca's primary attacks were a punch and a heat beam from his shoulder cavity, but once you had got him down to half his health, he did something new. He would expand his jaws and try to swallow Godzilla, in the process stealing your health and energy. Hate when that happens. Hate when this happens. But in doing so, he gave himself a new weakness. Firing a heat beam into his mouth would take a devastating 4 bars off his life meter. Hey yo, that's Vor? Vor of my comfort character? With that weakness revealed, I soon beat Orga, and despite how much I had hoped otherwise, the red face appeared on the map where the base was, and the music stopped. I readied myself as best I could. I started at the level, and seeing that it was basically the same as the first, I didn't waste a millisecond before I started hauling ass. I soon encountered obstacles in the form of the ground tiles suspended in the air. Most of them you could jump over or destroy, others you had to crouch under. About 40 seconds into it, I heard the horrible bellowing roar and saw the spider beast following close behind me. Stacks of obstacles barely slowed it down. It would back up and then charge its way through them, smashing them to bits. And when the smaller obstacles got in its way, it would expand its jaws and swallow them whole. Run. I was afraid, but with fast thinking and faster button pressing, I escaped him yet again. I felt really excited, and so I laughed and said, ha 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 ha, not this time, asshole. I decided to take a screen cap to celebrate. But when I said that sentence, just before the level ended, the monster did something that made my blood run cold. It rocks while I chase you. It looked at me. That wave of mortal terror overtook me again, and I sure as hell wasn't laughing anymore. I took another screen cap of the next level title, right before I rushed to the bathroom to splash some water on my face, and to take a piss that I nearly failed to contain when that fucking thing looked at me. Dementia. New chapter, new zapper. It's about to make fun of the blood running cold, but you remember that you scream like a baby while playing Valorant. It's scary when people are trying to shoot you. Don't mention it. When I got back to the game, I was getting very upset and confused. I thought about the way the monster looked at me. The game couldn't have heard what I said. That's impossible. It had to be a random occurrence. But why did it happen precisely at the moment I insulted the monster? Have you considered that the monster is just programmed to do that at the end of that level? After a certain amount of time, and it just coincidentally lined up with when you said it? Nothing about this game made any sense. The new Godzilla monsters, the weird replacement monsters, out-of-place imagery, like the green temples, quiz levels, and the red monster chases, didn't seem to add up in any kind of meaningful way. Efficiency? Well, yeah, that's where they live. Your blood just does that sometimes if you have low blood pressure. If it was a prank, it wasn't funny in any way I could understand, and they clearly put far too much effort into it. If they were trying to make a genuine sequel with new Godzilla monsters, then why did they add everything else? Maybe it was some kind of art experiment? Some group project made by a bunch of really talented and crazy people, and they lost the cartridge somehow? Or maybe they intended for some random person to find it. Like, this feels right. This is the sort of thing somebody would just... They would make a creepypasta game, and then they would just put it at a garage sale. Going through your clips because some of you are really tough on the mic. Mom has high blood pressure. She buys like unsalted pretzels and 0 sodium broth and all this stuff. You're like, no, you need salt. Do you get heat stroke more from high blood pressure or low blood pressure? I want to say low blood pressure, but I don't know anything about blood. I really don't know anything about blood. But I've been getting prone to, like, heat stroke more recently in recent years. And I need to figure out if I'm missing some vitamins or minerals. Had a doctor's appointment Monday and your blood pressure was 90/70. Have no idea about heat stroke. It has to do with the blood because it'll make you pass out. You do know you have blood. Even that is not like a guarantee. Low blood pressure can make you feel pain. You have blood and it's currently haunted. It's full of so many ghosts. You should get those out of there. I don't think it's good for you. Your boyfriend has too much blood. I feel like I have too much blood. There's so much of it in there. High red blood cell count. You're all gonna have to spell blood with one O or a U. B-L-O-U-D. Lest Lanky Kong sing his beautiful song. Blood. It was all just fruitless guessing. As far as I could tell, there was only one way to figure out what the deal with this game was. To play it through to the end. Not guaranteed to give you an answer, but worth a shot. Maybe, just maybe, there'd be something in the credits, an explanation by the creators as to why they made this. Or it could be something much more cryptic and strange. Maybe even something horrifying. Got your blood stolen the other day. I should give away all my blood. It was the gentlest stab I've ever gotten. They always have a hard time getting my blood. It always takes them several stabs to get, to find the veins to get my blood. But luckily, needles don't bother me none. So they can stab as many times as they need to. You can give blood, but it's prone to passing out. It's hard to donate. Before I got a good look at the dementia board, I considered replaying Trance to see if the red monster would look at me again, but I decided against it. I wanted to keep moving forward. I was also so... Oh no! You have type O2, you'd be a good donor. Shaking your hand. I was also somewhat worried that backtracking might cause the game to become even more strange. The dementia board music sounded a lot like the Saturn music, except it was slowed down and played with a piano-sounding instrument. Like most of these new map themes, it had a dangerous, suspenseful feel. Luigi house, but in mansion. Don't know your blood type. I know I'm type O, but I don't remember if I'm O positive or O negative. You only know you're O because both your parents are O and it's recessive. I didn't know my blood type for a very long time, but I remember getting curious, and I don't remember why I was curious, but I asked to find out my blood type, and then I did. And then I remembered it. While listening to the music, I looked at the dementia board. There were 4 boss monsters this time. Space Godzilla, Manda, Gigan, and Baragon. I was surprised that there were 2 new Toho monsters this time, but the best surprise was still to come. I think your dad said recently it was B, but he's not exactly reliable. Should have asked when they were taking your blood. It should be in your medical records. So you could ask, next time you have a doctor time, you'd be like, by the way, does my file say what my blood type is? Just a quick question for you. I started the quiz level. Here's another list of results in the same format as the last one. Quiz 2. Can you swim? Answer yes, reaction happy. Do you like fish? Answer yes, reaction sick. Can penguins fly? Answer no, reaction sad. Me too, though. Can it spin in all directions? There was no clarification of what face meant by it, so I just guessed. Answer no, reaction surprised. Your dad's O negative, your mom's O positive, so you could be either. Try to remember in Denver when you would go again, and by it, well, I mean my blood. I mean my head. I mean my pengus. Do you breathe oxygen? Answer yes. Reaction weird face number 8. Hold on. I want to have these weird faces on lock. Do you breathe oxygen? Answer yes. Reaction, weird face number 8. The bucktooths. Does it taste good when you bite a woman? I don't know who came up with this question, but I really hope they're getting mental help. Answer no. Reaction annoyed. Is it night where you are? Answer yes. Reaction weird face number 6. Do you like cats? Answer yes. Reaction confused. They're confused because you said you liked dogs earlier. But the truth is you can like both. Is water wet? Answer yes. Reaction angry. Have you ever broken a bone? Answer no. Reaction happy. Do you like your job? Answer yes. Reaction hurt. The face hates that you're employed. Do not bite the woman. You actually suggest kiss the woman if they are okay with it. This is the real advice that everybody should follow. Is the woman into biting? Very much affects the answer. Well, I mean, it doesn't say should you bite a woman. It just says when you bite the woman, does it taste good? So assuming this is a consensual bite, does it taste good? Or does the consent change the flavor of it? Water isn't wet, actually. That's why it's annoyed. That's why it's angry. I think water is wet because people are always saying it. I know people love to say the thing where it's like water isn't wet because wet is when you're covered in water. But what is water if not covered in itself? Okay, guess I'll just die then. You'll have to survive. Miss Kai. I also miss Kai. Come back, Kai. Get the ghouls out of your blood. And come back to life. We need you. Would you like a new monster? Answer yes. Reaction weird face 11. That's the face thinking up a new monster. You could have prevented this had you cared about the wetness of water. I wasn't entirely sure at the time what face meant by new monster, but I couldn't resist answering yes, just to see what would happen. The result was mind-blowing. The game took me back to the board. I had a new playable monster in the form of Anguirus. Ever since I was a kid, I always wanted to play as Anguirus, since he was my second favorite Godzilla monster, and plus I never liked Mothra all that much. I moved my new Anguirus piece over to the level right next to it, eager to test out my new monster. Before I get to the level description, I'll talk about Anguirus a bit. Good, because I don't know nothing about Godzilla monsters. Dude, your mind is blown, absolutely slobbered on. In the club, straight up blowing it, and by it I mean my mind. The episode of Futurama where Fry drinks so much Slurm he becomes glowing. Is you with Doritos? Your second of the day. It's allowed. It's Halloween. You get a treat. You get to have a little treat. If you drink enough of the worm soda, the ghosts will go away. I think they will be replaced with worms. And that's allowed. Using the up and down buttons, you could choose whether Anguirus... Okay, hold on. I need a visual on this man. Yo. What happened? This is Anguirus. He's like some sort of Spicalodon. Up and down buttons, you could choose whether Anguirus stood in a bipedal stance or crawled around on all fours. It wasn't a huge difference, but being able to stand was helpful in boss fights, and crawling sometimes helped dodge obstacles and attacks. He could punch and kick like Godzilla, but no tail whip. Instead, he had something far more interesting. The ability to curl up into a spiked ball of death and roll around. You could still take damage, but it was lessened. It was a good way of clearing out stage enemies, but unfortunately doing this also drained the power bar. Should you have kettle popcorners or could have Halloween's candy? This is where they get the blue shell. But the spiked ball wasn't his only special ability. When you pressed start, he would fire a beam of energy from his mouth. Candy! It resembled Titanosaurus' sonar attack. And if this were a hack, it might have been inspired by the roar attack from Atari Godzilla's fighting games. Maybe a salted snack. Chips. So maybe you missed something, but how is this a scary story? Okay, but so have you seen the evil red guy? So first of all, there's like the worm, and then he unhinges his jaw and swallows Godzilla, and this thing is apparently the most fucked up thing in the entire world that anybody's ever seen, and it chases you in the bonus levels at the end of the game, and it says run, and you have to run away from it. And then when the person said, ha ha ha, not this time, asshole, it looked at him from behind the screen. So, it really does just sound like somebody describing what would be a cool Godzilla game hack. Also of note, is that when playing as Anguirus, the level meter gets glitched up. Judging by the life and power bar, I say he's on level 10. Now on to the next level. Look at him go! Kettle pop corners are sweet and salty. Let's get your fucking head in the game. Also, what about the question where it said, do women taste good when you bite them? As you might have guessed from this level icon, the levels are green palette swaps of the ground and background tiles from the Blue Mountains. But what immediately caught my attention was the Wowooter, which has a transparency effect. Is that even possible for an NES game? I know the Super Nintendo could do it, but I'd never seen a transparency effect in a game on the NES. Like the scariest thing so far is the noise they heard that made them turn around and miss the one attack. Oh yeah, they heard a sound in the real world. What could that have been? Yeah, scary game, but what about real? I'm betting money that the red thing's gonna show up in the real world. Like it's gonna run off the edge of the screen and be outside of the window or something. The Green Mountains music was played with the same instrument as the Blue Mountains, but the melody was totally different. It was a very simple song with a lot of abrupt pauses, followed by a loud note every few seconds. Anyway, I went through the usual strolling through the level, and there were no monsters or anything, but pretty soon I'd reached a cliff above the Wowooter. There was nowhere to go but into the water, so down I went. The water transparency made things a bit harder to see, but it's tolerable. After going underwater, I encountered two new enemies, a giant piranha and some kind of spiky bottom feeder thing, like perhaps a sea urchin. I liked the piranha because I could easily tell what it was. It was a sane enemy design that would appear in a real game, and there were very few enemies like this. Comes out of the video game Samara style. Piranha, like it would be in a real video game. They didn't take much hits to kill, but they were quite annoying and could considerably trim down your life if they got close enough. They also tend to travel in packs. As for the bottom feeders, they're easy to deal with. They swim along the bottom of the screen towards you and are easily crushed with a roll attack or jumped over. In the screen cap, you can see me about to run over one of them, and there's a pack of piranha behind it. Oh, that's not an urchin. It's like another kind of worm. After I beat that level, I moved Godzilla onto the blue castle icon. I started the level and I got to this title screen with the text, Unforgiving Cold. The level itself looked like a castle dungeon made of blue bricks, with rows of identical white statue faces on the walls. These statue faces had a permanent look of horror on their faces. There was also some flickering gray static, which didn't really obscure my vision, but it adds to the very unsettling mood of these levels. The music, okay, I'm sorry, There's a Nanalon GIF that's just been on my other monitor this whole time, just staring at me and doing this the whole time, and it needs to stop. This is from when I was Googling Nanalon creepypastas. This isn't a Nanalon creepypasta, but the motion of it keeps distracting me. Stop it. Stop looking. We're reading about Godzilla. Can't work under these conditions. It's gone now. There's also some flickering gray static, which didn't really obscure my vision, but it adds to the very unsettling mood of these levels. The music was a 12-second loop of a low-pitched choir vocalizing that sounded very familiar to me. You sent me that GIF later? Oh, here, it's from, I guess, knowyourmeme.com/photos/ that number and then -Nanalon. Now that tab's open again, hold on, get out of here. Whenever I played through one of these levels, I got this sudden horrible feeling of anxiety. I had the feeling that the farther I progressed through the level, the closer I was getting to something unspeakably evil. There weren't any enemies, but there were some of the longest levels in the game. I only played one level, but it took 7 minutes to complete. Just a blue bricks world? Staticky blue bricks world with open... This person's so scared of mouths. This person has some sort of mouth trauma. The fang unhinging its jaw, the face chasing you unhinging its jaw, these open mouths, biting women. I didn't want to admit it to myself at the time, but I realized something playing the Blue Castle level. This game has the power to make the player feel certain things. Everything in life has the power to affect you by virtue of you share the world. I don't mean this in a sense that you get irritated playing a crappy game or get unnerved by something scary in a game. What I mean is that certain events in the game can instantly make you start feeling something. It's like they're injecting emotions directly into your blood. I know that sounds completely insane. I don't blame you for not believing me. I wouldn't believe any of this either if I didn't play the game myself, but there's something very, very wrong with this game, and I still don't know how to explain it. You know what? I'm gonna give you the benefits of the doubt. There's germs in there. There's emotion germs in this game. So, then it was time to fight Baragon's replacement. Although Baragon was originally the smallest monster in the game, his replacement was the largest. It was so tall, in fact, that the ground was noticeably lowered, and not Baragon's head was still barely avoided collision with the bar at the top of the screen. And he was just as frighteningly bizarre as he was huge. Hold on. I gotta know what regular Baragon looks like. He... just like a Tyrannosaurus. Not the same guy. You may be wondering how he attacks without arms. Well, he has the most powerful kick in the game. But his other fighting technique is much stranger. First, he blasts a cloudy breath of pixels down at you, which causes you to freeze. Then he walks back to the right corner of the stream and extends a huge Gatling gun from his abdomen. And the club's straight up shooting it, and by it I mean my Gatling gun. That might seem amusing to you. It really is. But it certainly wasn't to me when I was playing the game. This attack is almost as annoying as Gigan's Saw, and not Baragon could have been unbeatable if he consistently used it. Thankfully, he only did it twice while fighting him. Once you unfreeze, you can run up and start damaging the gun, which does extra damage to him. This helped me to destroy him, and then it was time to play the third level type. I decided that I was going to use Anguirus to fight Mandra and Gigan, and then fight Space Godzilla as Godzilla. It was only fitting. This song is too loud and hopeful. Before getting into the battles, I'll describe the third level type, the Arctic. A peculiar placement for a gun. Abdomen was generous. Abdomen was generous. The Arctic is exactly what you'd guess from the name, an icy tundra with few watery segments. Yeah, the music reminded me a bit of Northern Hemispheres from Donkey Kong Country, in 8-bit form. A very dangerous sounding song. It made me think about being trapped in a tundra and freezing to death. Penis gun. What is that? There were 2 new enemies in this stage. The first was a creature frozen in a block of ice. They block your way and you have to use the heat beam to thaw them out of the ice. They look a bit like a smaller version of Not Gazora, only without the eye. Whoa. That rules. I want to see more of that in video games. When freed, they do a strange crawling movement and push you backwards. It doesn't cause any damage, but it's a bit annoying. Shaped, extremely shaped. After dealing with the Iceman, I kept walking for a minute or two and came upon a water segment. I jumped in, and this time I managed to get a screenshot. I got a screenshot. Got a screen cap showing how the water splashes when you jump in. Don't know how they programmed that, but it's pretty impressive. Another interesting thing is how the screen changes focus when you go underwater. It's pretty impressive. Oh. Here you can see the other new enemy, a little thing I call Spike Walker. They walk towards you and explode randomly, or instantly if you attack them, sending spikes in every direction. The spikes don't do much damage, but they did get me dangerously close to falling in a pit a few times. Why are these zooming in now? Oh, speaking of the pits. Down into the water, the game has a platformer element, bottomless pits. There weren't any of these in the original game, since it was strictly an action game. But the pits were a neat addition. Screen cap. Yo, that's walrus. After getting back on land, I encountered a very unexpected mini-boss, Maguma, the walrus kaiju. I know this game had some obscure monsters to begin with, but wow. Not that I'm complaining. It's a pretty cool cameo for an unappreciated kaiju. Maguma's fighting tactics were very simple. He had a freeze beam, and he could charge into you. Not very challenging, but certainly more entertaining than the Matango mini-boss in the original game. One really interesting thing about Maguma is that he doesn't die when you defeat him. He turns tail and retreats. This was the first time I had ever seen an enemy monster change direction, let alone retreat. I tried to chase after him, but he disappeared after I got into the water. Poor bastard. And that does it for the Arctic. I'll talk about the Manda fight next. I forgot to mention before, but the music that played during the new monster fights is reused from themes actually in the games. So far, the themes have been Titanosaurus, Gizora's music, Biolante, Hedorah's music, Orga, Baragon/Moguera's music, Manda, Varan's music, Space Godzilla, Mechagodzilla's music. As for the fight, Manda was a fairly crafty opponent. When it realized one tactic was ineffective, it would immediately change to a different one. Manda used quite a few tricks, like spitting fire, biting, and the most irritating of all, constricting. It doesn't mercilessly drain your life down like Gigan's cutter, but it was by far Manda's strongest attack. One last thing to note that I found pretty cool was that the Atragon showed up during the fight to help me out. Manda crushed it with ease, but it was still cool. After I slayed Manda, I played through an Arctic level for health power-ups, and then it was on to Gigan's replacement. When the fight started, I was very confused, because there was nothing there. I thought this was going to be like the Titanosaurus fight in Pathos, but just about the time it would be going back to the map, a piranha appeared on screen. But it wasn't there for long. As soon as it appeared, the speakers emitted an ear-splitting screech, and Not Gigan flew in and ripped the poor fish to pieces. Yo! Is that realistic blood in my Godzilla NES Cursed Haunted game? Is that Slimer from Ghostbusters? Well, that's one way to get the player on their toes. That abrupt entrance scared the hell out of me and got my adrenaline rushing. Which, in retrospect, was a good thing, because Not Gigan was one of the fastest, most unrelenting opponents in the game. It's so green is the thing. Not Gigan was tough, but my new skills with Anguirus helped to even the score. This was still an incredibly intense fight. Not Gigan's attack consisted of some kind of blood laser he spews from his mouth and a downward slash. I was expecting some hellish variant of the buzzsaw attack, but thankfully there didn't seem to be one. Is that the blood laser? Just looks like a wiggly tongue. Some kind of wiggly tongue. The howl attack was invaluable in defeating him. I would have taken more screen caps of the fight, but I really had to concentrate. After that, there was just one monster left to take down, Space Godzilla. As mentioned earlier, I used Godzilla for this fight. Space Godzilla's fighting technique was rather frustrating, but admittedly a very clever idea. Space Godzilla would use his energy to create two flying crystals, which would reach the ground and become crystal spires. These spires not only block you from reaching Space Godzilla, but it allowed him to constantly recharge to full energy and blast you with a deadly fully charged Corona beam until you broke the spires. I'm getting a little lost in the Godzilla sauce. Space Godzilla would eventually drain his own spires of energy until they shattered, but if you waited for that to happen, you'd probably lose a lot of life. Heat beams actually seemed to re-energize the spires, so you had to use physical attacks. When he finally got close enough to hit Space Godzilla, he was no pushover. When I punched him, he hit me back just as hard. Space Godzilla does everything in his power to knock you back to the left corner of the screen so he can create more spires. By the time this was over, I only had about 5 life bars left. But it didn't matter, because I didn't need to fight anymore. I needed to run. The scary face is back. Here we go again. I decided right then that I really wanted to see the end of this game. As terrifying as these levels could sometimes be, I had to beat them to get through. I decided that no matter what happened, no matter what the game showed me, I was gonna get to the end. And I made sure not to say a damned word while playing a chase level from here on. For this chase, I tried out Anguirus, since his roll attack allowed me to move faster than Godzilla or Mothra. The chase started off like the first two, except there was a river of blood below the ground. I was beginning to get the hang of it, and the extra speed from the roll helped me get an edge on the red monster, especially since I didn't have to worry about a power limit and could keep rolling endlessly. Run. How do you know that's a river of blood and not red Kool-Aid? Or like, lava? Like the previous levels with water, the ground inevitably reached a stop, so I rolled into the blood. To my surprise, the Hell Beast didn't follow after me, just stopped at the edge of the ground and grimaced. I guess it can't swim, I thought to myself. So I went, quote-unquote, under blood and kept moving. There wasn't anything around, but I knew something was up. The chase wasn't going to end that easily, could it? Surely something else had to show up. And sure enough, I heard the bellowing roar, sounding slightly different. Oh, it's fish now. And the monster was following after me in a new aquatic body. I had no idea it was a shapeshifter. After it reappeared, the chase started to get into the difficulty I'd expected. Being submerged slowed me down. This isn't scary. Do you think it's gonna come out of the screen and eat us? It has to, right? Being submerged slowed me down, putting me in the beast at about the same speed. The only thing that would keep me alive was fast thinking and reflexes. I encountered some bottomless pits in which mines floated up from. I assumed that if you hit one, it would damage you and knock you back. Considering how fast the red monster swims, hitting the mine would be instant death, so I went through great effort to avoid them. But that wasn't all I had to be wary of. Halfway through the chase, the Hell Beast revealed yet another surprise. A tentacle formed of intestine and tipped with a clawed set of jaws burst from its mouth, trying to pull me in and devour me. I only barely avoided both the tentacle and the mines, but I could tell the beast was getting desperate because the chase was nearly over. That's the scary mouth. About a minute later, I'd spotted a bit of ground that served as the exit. I leapt with all the might I could muster without breaking my controller. The beast screamed with rage and jumped out of the blood river in one last attempt to drag me down, but I escaped its grasp. You could fight it, you'd win, you'd win. It would never get you with its intestine mouth. Spike mines wouldn't get you. You'd swim through all that blood so fast. I fell back on my bed and took a deep breath, satisfied with yet another successful escape. Now I was headed to the 5th world. Entropy. In the original game, the 6th world was called Pluto. Ironically, despite being the smallest planet, Pluto is the largest and most diverse world in the game. Entropy had a different layout, but was similarly huge and diverse. That's a TV. The board music was played by a violin instrument, a melody that started out sounding mournful, and then it gets rather, I guess I would call it distorted. Made me feel depressed and unnerved. Not something I would want to hear while trying to sleep. Good thing you're playing a video game. Strangely, none of the levels from the previous worlds were present here. Instead, there were 8 brand new icons. The bosses this time were Megalon, Batra, and Mechagodzilla. As usual, the first thing I did was go to the quiz level for another interrogation from Face, but when I got there, I noticed something different. Instead of the usual goofy Ghidorah music, it was the password theme. The music change seemed to be intentional because after the first 2 questions at the start, The quiz started to take on a darker tone. Do you like ice cream? Answer yes. Reaction, weird face 1. Do you like clowns? Answer yes. Reaction, weird face 10. That's the clown face. Is time slipping through your fingers? Answer yes. Reaction, weird face 2. Weird face 2. Do you have any regrets? Answer yes. Reaction, hurt. Do some people deserve to die? Answer no. Reaction, weird face 3. Is it safe to go out at night? Answer yes. Reaction, weird face 5. Do you find it hard to sleep at night? Answer yes. Reaction, weird face 9. Ninja. Have you ever killed anyone? Answer no. Reaction, weird face 7. Do you want to kill anyone? Answer no. Reaction, angry. Are you actually accomplishing anything? Answer no. Reaction, weird face 4. Does life have any real meaning? Answer no. Reaction, love. Do you like Mothra? Answer no. Reaction, maniacal. I knew that last one was going to be a gameplay related question, but I had no idea what the result would be. I answered honestly, because like I said before, I never liked Mothra. Nobody liked playing as Mothra in this game, and there was a good reason for that. Every other time Mothra gets hit, she gets slammed back to the left corner of the screen, and she sucks at fighting because her attacks are so weak. The only benefit Mothra had was being able to fly over obstacles in some level. You react similarly to someone who doesn't like Mothra? Me too. I guess it makes sense in the context of this game, like as just the character in the game and controlling them, but Mothra rules really hard. So I answered no, and Face actually replied back to me. Not only with a maniacal expression, but with text. Too bad. Too bad. Correct. I was taken back to the map screen, and I was shocked to see that Godzilla and Anguirus had disappeared from the board, leaving only Mothra. Face had just fucked me over. Needless to say, I was pissed. But there wasn't anything I could do, and I'm willing to bet, even if I had said yes, I would have been stuck with Mothra anyway. Face giveth, and face taketh away. I took a deep breath and got ready to explore. There were 2 paths I could take through the board, and I decided to take the lower one. This turned out to be a good choice for reasons I'll get to momentarily. The first world ahead of me was a forest, and so I started there. Almost immediately I got an eerie feeling. There was something about this level that just seemed off to me, even more than the previous ones. Perhaps it was the pitch black background. I've always been afraid of being in a forest at night. Get good. Something about all those trees makes me feel surrounded and vulnerable. Get good. And the fact that I was stuck as Mothra didn't help. Playing the game's previous world as Godzilla gave me a feeling of bravery, being in control of the king of monsters. I'd be able to handle just about anything in my way. But it's not like that with Mothra. No feeling of strength or security. Now I'm just a weak, easily overwhelmed bug, traversing into the unknown. Back to the level. The music had new instruments, sounding like woodwinds, followed by slow, rhythmic drums and chiming bells. Gave me this feeling that I was intruding into some dangerous place I really should not be. Mothra is beautiful and gorgeous. Give me your controller. Give her a chance, okay? After a while, I encountered the first enemies of the stage. Or at least I assumed they were enemies. They were strange, long-legged deer-like creatures. Instead of attacking, they were just idly walking around. I went to approach them and they ran away. These guys live outside my house. I thought about shooting one with an eye beam to see what would happen, but it seemed wrong. These creatures were harmless, so I passed over them and continued through the level. About halfway through, I encountered groups of the deer-like animals, and also 2 new creatures. A sloth-like creature with a beak climbing on a tree, and a hairy raptor-esque beasts that were preying on the deer. It was very surreal watching these creatures interact. I didn't feel like I was playing a video game, but rather I was traveling through a forest in some other dimension. See, I was about to be like, video games have environments that interact with, like, monsters that interact with each other in environments, but then I remembered this fool only plays NES games, so this is brand new. This is brand new to them. Those creatures ignored me for the most part, although the raptors did attack me when I got too close, or if I attacked them first. I know I shot one of them to help one of the deer creatures escaped. I got clawed at, but confrontation was easily avoided by flying up to the top of the screen. That's the sloths and the raptor. Oh, I was thinking like bird raptors. After that, I had to choose whether I wanted to play the levels with the hourglass or the TV screen. I picked the latter. What I got was not at all what I expected. Wombat child with a lollipop. This is my favorite TV show. When I pressed the button to start a level on the TV screen like I normally would, this screen with an animation popped up. There's also music in the background, which was a goofy Ghidorah music that used to be playing during the quiz levels. I was somewhat unsettled by this because it was just so strange. I also found it a bit spooky because I had a shirt that looked just like that when I was a kid. After starting the animation, you could go back to the board by pressing any button, so you just had like a green and blue striped shirt. Okay. Does anybody in the chat remember what your clothes were as a child?
No!
I think I have one shirt that I remember just because it was a weird one. It was like leopard pattern with roses on it and like funky sleeves. But I don't remember any of my other, like, I don't remember what shirts I had. I think I had a Pokemon shirt that was nice. You wore bucket hats? Or bucket hats in like high school and college, I think. I was not a hat child. I was a hat teen. I don't remember like any of my regular style shirts though. I don't remember if I owned any striped shirts or any plain shirts. Don't remember what the clothes looked like, but you had sensory issues with tags and socks. I know I wore socks. I don't remember any of my socks ever. After that, I had no what to expect of the rest of these icons. I went to try an hourglass icon next. I was somewhat relieved when an actual level came up. Clocks. 4:27, 12 o'clock, 11:18. It was certainly an unorthodox looking level, all brown, with time measuring instruments floating in the air, and a gigantic grandfather clocks in the background. The music was the same as the board screen. And very early in the level, I encountered something else I didn't expect to see. Original enemies from the game. You remember many of your outfits through various stages? You have a powerful memory. I remember junior high and high school because it was basically hoodies and jeans each day. I like high school kind of. I had t-shirts in high school. I had like graphic tees in high school. But like I don't remember wore a lot of blue as a kid, you know that. I don't remember anything I wore in elementary school. I know my parents used to say that when I was really little, I wouldn't wear anything that didn't have Barney or a dog on it. Like preschool baby aged. Not just that, it seemed to be a whole fleet of them. I had to have my Blorbos on my fit, even at age baby. And the yellow tanks, which were normally immobile, could now move. I took some damage, but it was nothing I couldn't handle. But the most interesting thing about this level was the colored hourglass items. There were 3 of these. A blue hourglass that made time slow down and filled the level with enemies from the past. A red hourglass that made time speed up and filled the level with enemies from the future. What do you mean from the future? A green hourglass that set time to normal speed and filled the level with the original game enemies. Oh, wait, future, like, Godzilla media that came out after this game? Or I guess just, is that an Amalakaris? And Coelacanth? No, that's Dunkelstiosis. Dunkelsterio. Dunkels. Shit, what's the Dunkelfish? Dunkelosteus. Anomalocaris, Dunkelosteus, Triceratops, woolly mammoth, and Archaeopteryx. And yet, El Mariachi. Hi, Ruby. I hope you were having a wonderful Halloween. I hope you had a good time with your Aminals Cross Dunkachino. This is the fish that Undyne is based off of, sort of. And this is, I actually don't know if that's Anomalocaris. That might be the other one. Yeah, no, that one has the weird pincer mouth. So what are you? Hold on. Cambrian Beasts. Hallucigenia. You're very tired and throat sore from doing voices. Rest in peace. Anomalocaris. Morella. Wewaxia. Oh, it's cute though. It's this thing. It's Opabinia. 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 Hallucigenia. You know that from Harmony Sona. I don't know what that is. Is that somebody named Harmony and their Sona is a hallucigenia? One of these things? You went to get popcorners, what happened? We had to find Opabinia. The animals from the past. Opabinia, Dunkleosteus. I'm pretty sure that's Archaeopteryx. Woolly mammoth, Triceratops. I encountered the blue hourglass first. As stated, the game started to slow down, and I saw the enemies from the past, which are 5 different types of prehistoric aminals. I don't know much about prehistory, but I believe all of these enemies represent real aminals. The level went into another segment. I encountered the green hourglass, and then I fought original enemies. Again, it was the same 5 types, so I didn't take any screenshots. But in the last segment, I encountered the red hourglass and the enemies that must have been from the future. Harmony's a friend with an ice cream mimic Sona and little hallucigenia buddy. Oh! That's good. Nanalon's back on the monitor. Get out of here. Trying to distract me with the power of looking. Now, whether or not the game was showing me 8-bit renditions of creatures that will actually exist thousands of years into Earth's future, I have no idea. But with that thought in mind, I found this particular segment to be very eerie, and it was made more tense because everything moved faster. So these are the future enemies. Warble, Gorble, Slorble, and Jorble. In the art channel where it was posted, oh hell yeah. Hell yeah. One of the future enemies bore a striking resemblance to something I saw in a book once, called Trudon Man. Another looked like some kind of organic spaceship. There was only one of the 5th type of future creatures, and when it appeared, all the others ran for their lives, leaving me alone to battle it. It could fly, but its sprite didn't actually move, and its single attack was firing a lightning bolt from its face. Even so, it was surprisingly powerful, and I suppose it could be considered a mini-boss. That's an angel. Mothra is also an angel. After defeating it, it left a health power-up that restored the health and energy I had lost fighting it, which was convenient. It seemed I would need all the help I could get to beat this world with Mothra alone. After that previous stage I call Time Warp, the next stage appeared to be a toxic waste dump. Global warming. industrialization. As you can see, the place looked grungy and inhospitable. The music was a short looping of an ambient synthesizer song. Listening to it made me feel like I had sniffed some toxic fumes myself, and it was messing with my head the whole time. I even felt like I was choking while playing this level. That's the cough. The enemies all seem to be mutated to some degree. In the above screenshots, you can see green mummies with bird skulls that jump out of the waist to spit projectiles. There's also a brownish cow skeleton monster with spider legs. I think these guys rule. I think of all the guys there are, these guys rule. Especially this one. The slurper? The sipper? Have it a little treat? Take it a drink? Halfway through the level, I even saw one of the deer from the forest. It was alone, and when I saw it, it was drinking toxic waste out of a barrel with an anteater-like tongue. It's the deer from before, but it's sipping. I was moving over to try to make it stop, but then this flock of skullbirds came out of nowhere and started... Skullbirds came out of nowhere and started attacking. The deer was scared by this and ended up running off the ground into the toxic waste. I feel bad for it. One of the birds bit me, but I regained health quickly from killing all of them. They were rather weak. I pressed onward. Ooh. Of all the levels in Entropy, this was probably the most normal in that there was little deviance from the move forward smash things formula in the original game. Yo, look at these crawling scroggles. I think this is the part that's maybe supposed to be scary, but it really does just seem like normal video game design. I encountered more creatures through the level, like tentacled blobs and some kind of deformed thing with human-like teeth. I didn't feel like provoking them into a fight, so I kept flying near the top of the screen. I still had to deal with the occasional flock of birds now and then. Yo! The Kraken. At the end of the level was a large bluish-green lake, and there I encountered another mini-boss. Some kind of monster with a long neck and a whale skull, and it attacks with a mouth projectile by charging into you. You could also go underneath the water and rapidly emerge from a different place. Posted a new version of it on our Blue Sky a while back. Drop that link. Drop that link in the chat. I can clicking it. But wait. It was harder to beat than the boss from the Time Warp, and it had a lot of health because it must have taken me 3 minutes to defeat it. It let out a really loud noise when it died and then sank back into the water as I left the screen. Back on the board, I went to the nearest level icon I hadn't seen yet, which is a white tree. As I guessed, the level was a winter-themed recolor of the forest stage. Trees. But unlike the regular forest, I didn't feel unnerved starting this one. I think the music had a lot to do with it. It was a gentle, calm song. It sounded almost romantic. It was quite stress-relieving, and the forest itself looked much less ominous covered in snow. Pretty forest! I traveled through the first segment, enjoying the atmosphere for 4 minutes, when suddenly I realized something. I haven't seen a single creature since I started the level. Where were all the aminals? Soon after I left the screen and the next segment started, do you see what do you see it? Do you see what happens here? The theme? Do you guys understand the theme? It's a beautiful forest full of deers and birds and sloths and raptors. And then, I don't know about the wombat, but then time happens, and then there's nuclear power, and then there's a nuclear winter, and it killed off everything. Post-ed. Yo! That's a really good Sona. There it is! The Marisol raid. Hello, 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 hello. 29 out of 34 mysteries? You only have 5 more to go. Oh wait, were you supposed to beat them by today? It's okay. You can play as many as you want forever. I still don't understand how you play so many million hours of Nance's Drew. That's so many mysteries to solve. You have to be using your brain so big every single day and for hours and hours and hours and hours at a time. 29 out of 34 really ain't so bad. That's like an A, I think, if it was on a test. Maybe. We're reading a Godzilla NES Creepypasta. Head until the strike of midnight today, Eastern. Well, if you change your time zone, to Pacific, you still have 2 hours and 48 minutes left. So there's still time. Actually, it's probably way more important to get a good night's sleep. It's literally Hallowee. Did y'all know this? Did y'all hearing this? There's ghosts and goggles about. There's gurgles and hoblins around. There's skeletons and bats and pumpkins and ghosts. And they're flurrying around the place and they're gonna get you if you're not careful. Did you leave out candies for the trick-or-treaters? It's officially November, hooray, you have new insurance. That reminds me, I have to get health insurance. I was supposed to do it earlier, but I didn't. Because I forgot. Daylight savings time is it Saturday or is it Smonday? Halloween's the best. You love seeing all the fun costumes and the decor. Real. When is the time to swap Halloween decor for Christmas decor? Saturday night, so it's okay. Saturday. I know it was. They said Sunday, but I didn't know if they meant Sunday morning or Sunday night. Saturday. Do it mid-November. I guess I could take down the scary parts of the decor, but leave up the, just like the pumpkins and the fall leaves so that it's just an autumnal decor. Take down the faceless ghosts and the skulls. The bats can stay, maybe. It's also the lyrics to a J-pop song you like? Saturday night into Sunday morning? Whoa, wait, what's this song? Is this Luigi House But at Mansion? Oh no, this is Ghosts and Goblins trance version OC remix. Saturday night to Sunday morning. I don't think I can play this. I think if I play it, I'll get in trouble by the internet. But I'm gonna leave the tab open and listen to it later. It's a really good song name, though. Saturday night into Sunday morning is Saturday. Surely the time shift will do wonders for your sleep issues you've been having lately. This is the one where you get an extra hour of sleep. Fall is the better one because you get to sleep more. But it means I think it maybe will help. Because it means when you wake up late, it'll actually still be earlier. A little bit. Anyway, we're reading a Godzilla creepypasta. We're on chapter 5 out of 8. And it's about somebody who played a Godzilla NES game as a child and they liked it. And then later they wanted to play it again, so their friend Billy got them a copy at a garage sale, but then they put it in and it was weird stuff happened. Sister has a night shift and it means she has to work an extra hour? Wait. Can they do that? Wait, shit, wait, you can do that? She gets paid the extra hour though, right? Everybody click that link, by the way. Go follow Marisol. Go see about all the Nancy Drews. Go learn the mysteries. Go have a good time. Click that link. Fall gets all the good stuff. Halloween sweater weather, the better daylight savings change, cool colors in the trees. God, I wish it would get cold enough to wear a sweater. She doesn't get paid at all. I think that's illegal. Unpaid intern type shit. Not allowed. She's in medical school. They should still pay her. Paid intern, please. Gino worked an old job. He had that kind of thing too, where he had to work the extra hour. It's so cold here and you're hating it. I'm killing you, fighting you, killing you. It was 90 degrees here yesterday. I want it to be cold, please. It's all I want in my life. Are the spookies scary? Are the stories scory? No, they're not. This one, there's like weird, I guess there's weird faces in this, and the red beast that chases you at the end of the levels. This thing is supposed to be the scary of the Godzilla game. But I'm not quite sure. I really want to know where this is going. The video game asks if your dog likes the president. Let's fix that. You have a story. Oh, let's go. Let's go. No heats and no warmth cloth. It's a type of cold where you do not have a shower because it will freeze me. You should have a warm cloth. You got no blankers? Soup? Okay. So there's this guy who's super, super tall. Uh-huh. Is that the scary? That he's so tall? That's just my brother. You have blankers, but only have one pant and many polos. I think you need to get more pant. And perhaps some jacket? And more blanket? Where you live, if you have no heats, you die. Isn't it illegal to not have heating? I thought you have to have heating. That's like, AC is like give or take. But they don't allow you to have houses without heating anymore, right? I guess you could get a little space heater. Getting pant is hard. You can get sweat pant for warm at home. Sweat pant is easy to get. Nice looking pant for outdoor and fancy is hard to get. But sweat pant and stretch pant, those are so easy to get. And then if you find one pant that fit, just buy 10 of them. Now you've got 10 pant. Electric blankets are awesome. Yeah, heated blankets, highly recommend. Highly recommend to get a heated blanket. A little space heater if your electricity is not prone to going out from being overused. He's so tall, he's always bumping his head, always knocking on doors and shelves and corners. Okay, so this is just the story of me. And so the top of his head is always so bruised. It's all blue and bruised and bumped and all the ouch. Story of me, but you can't tell because I have hair. But one day he bumps it real hard and the bruise goes further than the bump, and the blue and bruise travel down his head and onto his face. And the bruise goes into his eyes and everything is blue and everyone he talks to is blue. And why is everything blue like him inside and outside? And then he realized blew his house with a blue little window. Everyone else is blue. Turns out he's a normal person. Everyone else is Smurf. That's so scary. That would be scary. That's Gargamel's story. He thought he was tall, but everybody else is small because they're Smurfs. You have heat technically, but it's Borkin. Danger. The guy that came and looked at us said, "Your stuff is broken. Go get $2,000 about it." Oof. That's the price of a really nice computer. Like a really, really nice computer. He'll just freeze until dead instead. Well, you should, you can get, I would get a space heater. You can get a little portable heater that plugs into the wall and it won't heat your whole house, but you can keep it in your bedroom or whatever room you hang out in, small room. and turn it on, and it'll heat just that room, and it'll keep you from dying. You have to be careful because it takes a lot of power. So, like, a lot of electricity. So if you have it on the same circuit as a lot of other high electricity stuff, it's really easy to trip the breaker. But it will keep you warm, and it's less than $2,000, I promise you that. Just be so careful. Getting a heated lamp for work. I'm so very yawning. Yoda does a death. After we finish this Godzilla creepypasta, should we even finish? Can we speed read this? Winter Forest, 12 seconds from Unforgiving Cold. There's some monkeys. Oh no, that's the sloth. The sloth is alive. All the things are dead. The raptors are still here. They're killing winter raptors. The moon breaks. It hatches. Whoa, hold on, wait a second. And immediately I started to feel dread. This is gonna sound crazy, but it's the absolute truth. This game made this level from one of my memories. After a long stretch of nothing, I reached a lake, and then the moon moved down from the sky and began to hatch like an egg. I remember when that happened too. When it did, a curled up humanoid figure fell into the lake as the moon halves quickly disintegrated. I heard a splash when it hit the water, then a moment of silence. The screen began to shake, and a new creature emerged from the water. And thus I was introduced to a monster I call the Moon Beast. I think Melissa... What? Hold on. Hold on. I'm yawning so big. This is the only screenshot I took as I was focusing all my concentration on winning the fight, and it was the most difficult fight yet, stronger than any of the previous bosses. The creature would have been hard to take down with Godzilla. With Mothra, it was impossible. I consider myself fortunate the beast lacked any attacks like Gigan saw. I never would have won this. I only had 3 bars of health when I finally killed the Abomination. But what happened afterwards is what I would call a reward. I've been trying to keep my promise to suppress this memory for years, but it seems as if I have to get it off my chest. This is a very painful memory for me, but the games already knows about it, and I think you should too. I'll just tell you the important parts, because I don't like bringing this experience back into my head unless I have to. Back when I was in middle school, I had a girlfriend named Melissa. She suffered from some kind of mental disorder that caused her to go into episodes. When she was in an episode, she would stand or sit perfectly straight and still, and her face would instantly lose any expression she had before. She would speak very clearly without any hint of emotion. When it was over, she would start trembling and sometimes bury her face in her hands and remain silent for several minutes. I can't really convey the feeling it gave me in words, and I won't try. You had to see this in person to understand. But despite this, she was a very kind person, and I cared about her dearly. We liked to hang out in a field at night and look at the stars. Favorite activity to do is hang out in a field at night. But one night she said she didn't say anything to me at all. She just stared directly at the moon, trembling. I tried to talk to her, but she suddenly sprang up and ran right into traffic. I tried to stop her, but I was too late. She got hit by a truck and got killed that night. Melissa got isekai'd. So sad that it had to happen. I looked her right in the eyes when the wheels went over her neck. That sight has always haunted me. How? Huh? Wait. How did she turn around? I know that this game knows about this because after I defeated the Moon Beast, this happened. Melissa, kill yourself. Kill. Oh, it's the face. I don't know about this, y'all. You're so a scare of face. Did this game kill her? After that, the game went back to the board screen. It was all I could do to not burst out screaming, and my hands were shaking so bad I could barely hold the controller. I knew the game was going to test me if I kept playing, but I had no idea it would go so far or that it was even capable of doing what it just did. I could feel my brain going haywire as I asked myself, did the game just read my mind? This personalization AI is weird. This is the little friend necklace. That didn't seem possible. What other explanation was there? It was then that I could no longer deny what now seemed obvious. The game is a lot. That's not... The game is alive. That's not the conclusion. Did you know every copy of Godzilla, Clash of Monsters of Gonsters for the NES is alive and personalized just for you? It has to do with how you answer Face's questions. And not only that, it can also establish some kind of mental connection with the player. Couldn't stop playing. It was dangerous, but if I quit playing, I'd never be able to stop thinking about it. Fucked up as it was, this was the experience of a lifetime. I had the TV remote right next to me, ready to turn off the TV in case I felt like I was in actual danger, and if that didn't work, I would pull the plug out of the wall and just run out of the room. Surely that would be enough. Whatever powers the game has is in the TV. It's fine. Took a break to calm my nerves, then it was back to the game. Speaking of TVs, there was a TV screen icon right below the white forest I had just left. And because the first animation was so bizarre, I figured I'd give it another try to see what happens. Although I expected the same animation, I actually got a totally different one. I love this show. Like, I feel like this is one of the early inspirations for the whole Mario 64 iceberg thing. The TV animations are my favorite so far. Wombat Child licking a lolly and... Beautiful. You need him on stream with us? Oh. It's a web P. Wrong file type? Why can't I have a GIF? Well, we're never gonna get the Fishman. So sad. Weird. The music for this one was the Neptune board music. Fitting, I suppose. It's a Fishman and all. Can't help but wonder what the point of these things are. There was one more TV screen icon, so I figure it must have a unique animation of its own. I was gonna make sure to see what it was before I left Entropy. But then you had to do the Golden Labyrinth. There's these things. When you go left, your monster turns and faces to the left. Sounds obvious in the original game, you couldn't do that. Level was really big. There were these weird faces. And whatever these things are, and that thing is. And I found one statue face at a dead end with a wide, open-eyed stare. The night Melissa died, she had an expression on her face that looked exactly like this the whole time. That's woman face. You can tell because of lips, maybe? I don't know. Even when she got hit by the truck, she still had that same expression. I can't help but feel like something is really staring at me from behind the screen when I look at this. I really didn't want to be reminded of that night anymore, so I left the statue almost as soon as I found it. I need to find the exit in, which proved no simple task. It felt like this level stretched on forever in all directions. I must have wandered around the level for at least 15 minutes before I finally saw something. The Scrungler. A creature that wasn't gold. Seemingly the only one of its kind in the level, lacking any kind of hoverability. It just walked back and forth on the platform. Flying machine swooped down and grabbed it. Dropped it in a hole. And then it came out gold. Yo, there's a lot of little scrunglies. These multicolored creatures with big heads emerging from a small cave in the ground. They all made a synchronized shaking sound. They walked right in a group emerging from the cave, ignoring me. Followed them on their route. 100 creatures. They all jumped off the cliff. I've seen enemies walk off cliffs before, but I've never seen NPCs commit mass suicide like this. Very unsettling way to start off a level. They're just lemmings. That's it. Puts you in the gold machine. I will say, I really appreciate the creature's design of this creepypasta. Bubbleheads, some birds getting defeated the condors. If the game itself is alive, perhaps the creatures in these levels are also alive and have some very unhappy lives, if this behavior is any indication. What provokes them to do this? In the back of my mind, I almost suspect the glowing moon in the sky is the reason. More bubbleheads. Oh, there's like a crab guy that he fights you. It's Veteran's battle theme. We're doing attacks. Where is the... Oh, shit, hold on. Overall, I describe him as strong, persistent, but dumb. I was now nearing the end of Entropy. I'd just taken down Megalon. I started up the last TV screen to see what I get this time. The result was unpleasant. People who wrote creepypastas back then didn't have a great perception of time. You feel like? Oh no, it's so scary. You think that's Melissa? The music for this gruesome scene was the password theme. I couldn't figure out why the animation was so sinister and violent in comparison to the other two. The whole game seemed to be growing more malevolent. As I went on to finish Entropy, I began to feel drained. Tension. Music's scary, it's dark now. You were in a daze, you could barely see. I knew there was something there. It wasn't until I did some screen cap editing that I got to see what my pursuers looked like. Oh, they were red guys. 15 minutes is a long time to wait if you're playing a game. Yeah. They were saying, actually this person was saying earlier, like, it was really long for a level. It was like 3 minutes long. And it's like, okay, yeah, that tracks. At the time I couldn't see where they were, where I was going. I was running blind and this mob of beasts eventually caught up with me. All I could think was now. As I saw my life bar rapidly declining, the monsters had taken me down to have my life. When the light came back on, the attackers had disappeared. Oh, and then there's Melissa again. Looks so sad. I'd be dead meat if not for one of the wide-eyed statues. Stayed close to it. Monsters avoided it. You fight Mechagodzilla. Shoots a rainbow beam. After getting him down to half his health, something weird started to happen. His sprite started to glitch in much the same way Gazora had back in the first world. After a few seconds, the glitches began to form a new shape. A human. And it shoots beams too. One last thing to do. The Hell Beast chased. Oh boy. Might as well get this over with, I thought. Run. The Entropy end chase scene and being exactly what I was afraid it was. A labyrinth level. All the other chases were difficult but straightforward. You just had to run right and not get touched. But this took all the simplicity out of it. There's no telling how big this labyrinth would be or where the exit was, and now, not only did I have to constantly backtrack to find my way out, I had to avoid getting one hit killed by the red monster. And for those first 30 seconds, it didn't show up, but I knew it would, and as I started picking up the pace, I heard loud, flapping noises. It's got wings now. It was in a flying form. Took one screen cap of the red monster doing something interesting. Oh, eat through the wall. And then you get to Exitus. We're just gonna blast through. I don't know about this one. I don't know about this one. That's Godzilla. I trusted you, random Reddit user that said this one was perhaps scary. Well, this one's not even animated. This one doesn't even move. And here's Bobbly Boos. And now Alien Temple. And you get in the elevator and the Gurkles. And now you have to fight Lizard and Spider. Well, this one's kind of cool. I like this TV show. Is there going to be a line about how, like, oh, and then before Melissa jumped into traffic, she drank water from a tap just like this one? I don't think there was ever much reason behind the TV screens. If I were to guess, I'd say it's some random uncontrolled manifestation of the cartridge's abilities. Mr. Fawcett's theme was the Saturn music. Indie game NPCs real, and here's the big Gorkle. And then you fight all the bosses again. And then and they all fused into one really big boss, I guess. And then I was completely stunned. I wasn't excited about seeing the Hell Beast icon again, but if there was only one good thing about those levels, is they're predictable. I had a basic idea of what to expect. I love Voltron. Solomon can't enter here. Solomon's 2 demon. Level was the graveyard. What the fuck? At 2 minutes into the level, I encountered something I wasn't sure how to react to. My first instinct was to run, but this blue statuesque being simply floated in place, and I felt compelled to just stare at it for a time. Since this was a grave and it was floating over a chapel, I guessed it was some kind of angel watching over the deceased. Just as I was gonna leave, the Hell Beast appeared in its present, warped the music into terrifying discordance, reaching into the transformed over the level, desecrating the tombstones to the ground as blood-soaked bodies. Oh no. Oh, and then I got the angel, all the angels trying to protect you. And eat the angle. When I got to the end, I remember how it responded to my insult and trance when I spoke to it again and said, "You're going to pay." This was its response. I had no idea how I would follow up on that threat. And nothing could have prepared me for the horrors of the final world zenith. I think I've learned my lesson, which is never read an 8 chapters creepypasta. So Zenith is the scary red world. There's a bleeding mouth that says, "Get out." This is the quiz. I jumped back when this appeared, accompanied by a terrifying, terribly distorted version of the password theme. It looked like Face had fallen victim to some terrible glitch. Is this what he meant by "Will you miss me"? We don't even know. I look at Paisley in the morning when she wakes me up before the alarm. Oh no. I got back to the board and gained a new monster. I didn't even ask if I wanted to try to select it, and then this happened. No. What the hell is going on? The game's behavior was scaring me, and I hadn't even started the levels yet. I couldn't understand why I was randomly given a new character and then denied use of it, but for the time being, there was a little that could be done. I viewed the last TV screen. Bets on what you want to thinking it is? Do you think it's Melissa? Do you think it's the face of the player? Do you think it's the red demon face? Do you think it's another murder? Oh no, it's Scary Hell Corpse. No animation, no music, dead. Every instinct I had was telling me to stop playing, to turn the game off, and something in the game itself might have been trying to warn me just how horrible this last world was. But it had scary mouths, and scary music, and the blood demons again, and you could freeze them, but it didn't help, and there was the Scorpse Walkers, and the Skin Scronklers, and the Stink Stumplers, and the Angels Red now and evil, and it must be some kind of imposter among us, and then Mothras again, and the Skies, and the Skullingtons, and the Squids, and the Amalgamation. The swarms of monsters fused together into one enormous, terrifying hybrid. Once I got through the initial shock, we discovered how to destroy, shoot I-beams at it. It's like there's some kind of Among Us. And the Mothra flies away. And then you got to play Anguirus again. And there's some sort of Batman. And the water level with the monsters. And the blood soakers. And they get you creepy, but at least they're not a threat, or so I thought, until they sprang to life and leaped on me. They were trying to pull me under, they're draining my life. And the squid slumplers. I was interrupted by a screen. Mother. The screen was only up for 30 seconds, then it went back to the level I was facing another dead end, a pregnant humanoid creature being, oh, it's baby death, but a live mom baby death. And it's a clown? Come on. Clown bat. It came flying towards me, making a shrill hacking scream. And it shoots green. The bat was a highly mobile boss, fast and difficult to hit. Shoot out a barrage of needles. It jumped over them and it hit it on the head. And it shoot green beam from its eyes. Only 2 levels to go. Who to send this time? And there's these things, puppies. Everything is a semi-real look to it. Everything looks like chicken. These guys are there. There's some sort of tapeworm. The bat. Funny is how I feel grading these papers. This looks like you could find it in the frozen food section. It was about 4 minutes before the end that this level was making me physically sick. The tension was getting to me. Having to take in all these disgusting sights made me want to puke. I nearly did pause the game and look for a bag, but I was able to hold it together. I also found a trick at the end of the level. Too late for everybody to do me any good. But if 2 different species of monster run into each other face to face, they would fight each other and leave me alone. I didn't intentionally cause this. It just happened. They hate each other. And then there's this thing. And it gets you, and you get it, and you use your attacks. I selected Solomon and entered, and now it's the Devil Tor. Because he's like a centaur, but also the devil. And there's a lot of them. And it's, I guess, hard gaming. Special hell level demon beast monster fight kill. Oh, it's Ghidorah. King Ghidorah. Using lightning powers. And now it's Mecha Ghidorah. And a little red guy. Now it's a big red guy. Mothra is there. This is so... No, that's the eyeballs from the scary guy. Just Godzilla in a black screen. I walked back and forth, fired a heat beam. Nothing happened until I heard something. The faint sound of a familiar drum beat. Dot, dot, dot. Oh dear God, that was my first thought, and realizing I'd have to fight Red, the creature that tormented me. How would I fight something that could kill me with one touch? It was impossible, but now it doesn't do one-hit KOs. Balloon learned what a horrible mistake I'd made. Red reached out and clawed at Godzilla, and when those claws cut through him, I felt it. I know it's common for people to cringe up when their video game character gets hit or loses life, but this was not that. This was genuine physical pain. When the pain struck me, I paused the game. I hadn't suffered any actual injuries, but it felt like my shoulder had been clawed through. I'd seen and experienced many unpleasant things at this point, but the game causing me real pain was where I drew the line. Yes, I would be disappointed that I wouldn't get to see the ending, but the risk was no longer worth it. I was about to get up to take one last screenshot and turn off the NES when I realized something else. I couldn't get up. I was paralyzed to my seat. The only muscles I could move were my fingers and thumbs. As the terror set in, a new message popped up on the screen. You are not leaving. I started to scrimp, but only a weak choking sound was coming out. I desperately tried to get my body to move, but it did nothing. I was looking every direction, and I looked over the computer. Somehow, the computer was taking screenshots of the game on its own. When I began the fight, I still didn't know how or why. Something in the game must have been causing it. Since Red could hear what I was saying, I tried begging for him to let me go. From here, things started to get hazy. Patrick Swayze, as I was under extreme stress at the time, but from what I can remember, I said, I'm sorry, I insulted you, I didn't mean it. I didn't know things would get this serious. Please let me go. If you let me go, I promise I'll never tell anyone or turn the game on ever again, please. And Red replied, you pathetic worm, it's too late now. Only one will survive. Only one will survive. The statement could not be any more clear. If I couldn't kill Red, then he would kill me. Like an idiot, I had played around with something I didn't understand, and now it might cost me my life. I stopped struggling to move and accepted the reality of the situation. There was only one way to get out of this alive. I had to kill Red. So I punched him in the face. It all went by so fast. If it weren't for the screenshots, I might not have remembered any of this. Just like the chase levels, Red moved at horrifyingly fast speed. There was barely enough time to process a thought. And thus, no time to form a strategy. I had to rely solely on my wits and reflexes. To make things worse, there was no way to predict what kind of attacks Red would use. I had to be on the offensive and the defensive. Every attack hit, it hurt. All the damage it hit, it hurt. I was hurt, and the pain, it hurt. And he jumped me, and I grew low Red, and I moved far back, and I ducked, but I couldn't dodge it because he used his enormous attack of Fire Skull, Fireball, Fire Skull. When this hit me, I really did scream. I screamed so loud that someone else in the apartment should have heard me, but they didn't. Just looking at the image hurts me. Makes me remember the burn. It hurt. I paused the game because it hurt. The Red unpaused the game to attack me again, which hurt, and made me furious because it hurt. I immediately counterattacked with the heat beam again and again and again and again and again and again and again, and I wanted Red to hurt like I did. I used the freeze beams. He turned into a fish. He kept turning into fish, and then I jump and I fight and we fight and we fight, and if you're gonna cheat, why even let me use the controller? Can't break the rules. And then he came at me and he attacked, and I attacked, and I said, damn it, why are you attack? And so we attacked, and then we kept attacking. And he's using his beams, and then he tried to eat Mothra. He reached out and grabbed Mothra and ate her, and after Mothra was devoured, I felt an agonizing pain like being crushed to death. Mothra had been killed for my stupidity, and I would share the pain. It was a short transition from the battle to the board, but it felt like an hour. The pain, combined with being unable to move, drove me insane. I wanted so badly for this to end, and I never wanted anything so much. But I still had hope. There was only one monster left that could be brought to full health by engaging Red in battle. Solomon. If anyone had a chance to save my life, it would be Solomon. And this is Solomon, and this is Red, and this is Solomon, and Solomon to go to fight, and then it says, traitor, I always hated you. You can die like the rest. I'd rather die than serve you, said Solomon, because now Solomon can talk in the screen too. And then he used the Fire Skull Fireball again, but it hurt. And then Solomon had still life, and so he couldn't use his weapon, and he had to die. And he's frowning because he's mad. And then Solomon uses attacks, and he tried to eat Solomon, but it didn't work because Solomon could use a Bower Beam, and then he spat out the goop, because that's what happens when you're full of evil, is you got goop in you. And he uses Red Eye attack, but he got big, and then I'm not done with you. And we gotta zap elements. And we had to fight the big attack, and you are weak, your monsters are weak, you will all die. This is hopeless, I'm a dead man. I had no choice but to send another monster to his death. We were gonna die. I only hoped they would forgive me. And then I used Anguirius, and he's dead because he got shot by blood rain, and it melted his face off, and I was hurting. And my guy's gone, you can't win, Zachary. I asked Red how he know my name, and then he said it. I've known you for a long time. I will tell you a secret.
I killed Melissa.
For years, she was being tortured by something nobody understood, and now I knew what it was. It was the Godzilla NES game. I understood why I was mocked about Melissa's death and how the game knew it, because he knew it, because he did it, and this time he was gonna kill me.
Send your last monster. I will end this futile struggle.
Red drove the truck. Red isekai'd Melissa. I was taking it back to the border. The Godzilla was there, and I had to fight Red, the 5th monster. And we had to do it. And we had to fight Godzilla. And he ate Godzilla, and he looked at me with his eyes. But the 5th monster could awaken. And then Red decided he was done playing fair, paralyzing my heart, and I couldn't feel anything, and my vision was fading, and I tried to press the A button.
Game over.
Red was breaking his rules, but he was wrong.
Game over.
Red's power was being challenged by another force. It prevented him from killing me. When I regained my vision, I saw a familiar sight. Zach, we don't have much time. Who are you? You already know me. I'm Melissa. What? How is that possible? Red told me he killed you. It's true. Even after death, he tortures me. If you can't stop him, he'll do the same to you. But how will I be able to stop him now? I can't fight Red, but there is one who can. I will release him from Red's grasp. Don't give up. I love you. Her words stirred something inside of me, and I wasn't gonna die. I have to fight to save Melissa and the world she inhabits. With her help, the 5th monster was unleashed. It's Akakius, the golden light. And then together we fight the big Red. And
they can't save you.
Akakius was the strongest gamer, and he had a punch that turned his hand into swords, and he did so good at it. He jumps over the blood rain, and he punched real big, and he fight, and then the Red gets so scared that he turn around, and then we fight him real big. We shoot the beams, and our health is so low, but we did it, and we win it, and we kill him. He melted into Scrunkless, and we had done it. Melissa's death had been avenged, and I felt overwhelming happiness until I remembered all the death and pain that led up to this point. All the other monsters who had fought and died. I was about to mourn them, but the game had yet to conclude. Melissa's here. Face is there. Tears of joy streamed down my face, and I broke out crying, and I cried harder than I have in several years. In a whole life, through everything I'd been through, the game was hard and it was done, but before you left, Melissa had something to tell me. You have saved us. We are forever grateful. We'll be together again someday. Wow. Zachary saved the day. Zachary saved dead Melissa and Godzilla. It's been 3 weeks since the fateful night. Immediately turned off the NES. First thing I did was unplug the NES, take out the cartridge, and put them in separate sock drawers. I looked over at the computer. All the screenshots were the saved. Backed up all the images. Now what a day that was. First thought I recall coming to mind was, what the hell happened last night? Thought about it for a short while until it occurred to me to contact the person I got the game from, Billy. So I called him up just to come over to my apartment, which he did. And I showed him the screenshots and gave him a rundown of what happened, and he thought I was joking on him, but then he realized I wasn't joking on him, and then he was speechless, and he did not mess with the game, and he had no idea about any of this. I said, where did you get this game from? And he said, another friend of mine that I trade games with. It was a trustworthy person. He never had any issues with games before. None of them were cursed or had the red monster in them. But when Billy told him the story, he was also shocked and surprised, and he hung up on us because nobody knew what was going on. And then Billy's like, do you want me to get rid of the cartridge? And I said, hell no, bro. I needed time to think it over. And then we didn't talk anymore. And after that day, I did a lot of thinking. It was hard to do anything but thinking because of the horrible cursed game experience I had. What was Red? Was Melissa really in the game? How did she get there? Why did all this happen with this game? And the question that kept me many nights was, Red said he had known me for a long time. How? Ever since then, I can't shake this feeling of being watched. The game made me ask myself questions about death and reality in ways I never wanted to think about. I'm not too sure of anything anymore. Constantly thinking about it soon began to have a negative impact on my life. I didn't care about anything else at this point. By comparison, all the other day-to-day activities became utterly pointless. I eventually decided I had to choose between one of two things. Try to play the game again, or destroy it. I tried several times to convince myself to try the former, but I never got farther than plugging the NES back up. Just touching the cartridge made me remember all the pain I felt through the fight with Red. I wondered if perhaps playing the game again might cause something terrible to happen. I didn't know anything about how this game worked, and it was too risky. I wasn't sure I could stand another round of the game anyway. So then it was time for the other option, wanting to get some fresh air. I took the game with me and drove to the lake, planning to throw it in. I got up to the lake with the cartridge in my hands, and I looked down at it, and I thought of Melissa. If what I had experienced in the game was indeed genuine, doing what I did may have been the only way to save her from endless torture. In a way, this warped game may have saved her soul. Damn it. Once that thought came into my head, I knew then I wouldn't be able to destroy it. So I just sat down on a bench, gazing at the lake for about an hour. Ultimately, I decided on a third option, selling the game on eBay. Buddy! Bad option. It may be selfish, but I promise you that it has nothing to do with money. I don't care how much or how little I get paid for this game, believe me. It's selfish because I don't want the responsibility of owning this cartridge anymore. I cannot dwell on this forever, and the only way I can deal with this is by putting the game out of my life. So this brings me to the main reasons I created a summary of these events. First is to record the details while I can remember them, and second is to whoever bids on this game knows what they're getting into. I can't guarantee the safety of anyone else who plays the game, or that anything will happen at all, but to the new owner of the game, remember this. Be careful if you feel like the game is literally messing with your mind. Shut the damn thing off. He killed somebody else! Genuinely scary story called Top Banana. Ported to the Amiga. The graphics and audio are extremely abrasive to a point that can't be properly described. I heard one account of an epileptic kid who, against his parents' guidance, was somewhat pressured into watching friends play it, which gave him what seemed to be life-altering trauma. That's so scary. Alternate ending. John Red revealed his true form. He was John Madden all along. Okay. Okay. Everyone take a second look at this ghost. I'm gonna drink the last of my night coffee. I think we all learned something very, very valuable. And it's that you shouldn't play video games that are based off movies. Sure, some of them are all right. And I bet there's a few that are even decent or good. But most of the time, they're full of demons that will get you. What you learned is you fell half asleep. I've been sleepy lately. Do 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 do. All user submitted stories. Pick a year. Somebody pick a year between 2012 and 2017. These dancing pumpkins will protect us. Or I guess we could just scroll. 2014, let's give it, whoa. That's cool. Do, 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 do. Error. do, 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 do.
Ruby Hexagon says Splunk.
Splunk. Thank you for the splunk. Wandering Sun. A love story. Selfie.jpg seems pretty promising. Luigi house, but in mansion. Getting big EPU, gotta go to bed. Have a good night, gamers. It is bedtime, but I don't want to end off on Godzilla. I want to get one more quick one in before we go to bed. Have a good night. Have a good sleep. Have a good dreams. Have a good memes. Have a good ice creams. When we return, I was gonna say actually when we return next, we won't be scary anymore, but that's not true. We're gonna have one more stream where we're a ghoul because we still have to beat Gary and Faith. How long is this one? Seems legible. Let's read selfie.jpg by Emma G. I guess it started with me needing help with a game I was playing on my Game Boy. One of those Zelda games. Never mind, it's not important. I was stuck at one part and couldn't figure out how to get past it. So I went looking around the internet and found a forum where people, you know, talk about the games and help each other out. So I joined up and everyone there was so friendly. Really just very nice, very welcoming. Besides the game talk, they had an off-topic section, and one of the threads was a selfie thread, you know, pictures of yourself. Yeah, it was nice. And I'd hang out in there and a lot and tell people what I liked about their pictures. A couple people I got close to kept telling me how to post one. And I told them about the accident and how my face got all fucked up. Can I say that? Okay, sorry. I did post a couple with just my eyes showing with a scarf or something else over the rest because I was real self-conscious. And you know how the internet can be. I didn't want anybody taking it and putting it somewhere to get laughed at. They got whole sites for that. It's gross, but what do you expect? One of them I got real close to. Her screen name on the site was Lammy Dance, and she went by Lammy. I was Smiles, some number, I don't know. And she was just the sweetest person, real warmth and helpful to everybody. We started talking on Skype some, and we'd even voice chat. I believe she really cared about me, always told me she thought I was beautiful, and we exchanged Christmas cards and everything, so I took a picture of myself for her, my whole face. She'd wanted to see it for a long time. Got a little pushy about it, and I didn't want to disappoint her. Didn't even really look at the photos at first because I knew I'd get all upset and change my mind. It was all off center and not lit too well, and I sent it to her and only her. That part really scared me because for a while she didn't respond. Didn't go offline or anything, just wouldn't talk back to me. I typed stuff to her. I said I was sorry and I knew it was bad and ugly and freaky looking, and then I got to worrying. But she'd always been so nice. I couldn't imagine she was doing it all just to make fun of me. I don't believe that was why. I think she really did mean well, but sorry, I'm getting all... I'll keep going. Lammy did come back eventually. She said she got an anxiety attack and that she was okay and promised it wasn't because of my face. And I believed her because I knew she had problems with that. But she didn't say anything more except that she wanted to go relax, and that was the last time we talked. She got offline and didn't come back on. A couple days later, I'm getting worried. Since it's been a long time since I heard from her, I had her real name because of the cards, but I wasn't on Facebook too much. And I went to look at hers and she put my picture up there. Not in like a, hey, look at this freak kind of way, but just no comments or anything. Not by her. Just posted on her wall thing. A couple of other people going, ew, gross. And that hurt mostly. I was just confused. I went and asked her to take it down, thinking maybe it was a mistake and she meant to put something else up, and clicked mine instead, but she didn't get back to me. Nobody I knew could get a hold of her. Another online friend told me someone had put my picture up somewhere else. Got it from her Facebook, posted it on some other site. Tumblr, I think. I didn't use it, so I didn't know much about how it worked, but I went to message the person anyway and asked them nicely to take it down. Maybe report them if they wouldn't. Really, I was just panicking at that point. It had taken me so long to even get to the point of wanting to show myself to people, And it seemed like someone I trusted had gone and shown off my picture to a bunch of strangers so they could all laugh at how gross I was. I still didn't quite believe that. I didn't want to. I went to all the blogs that had reposted it that I could find and send them messages, and I sat there clicking refresh, waiting for hours in hopes that any of them would get back to me. Not sleeping or anything. I gave them my Skype if they wanted to talk there, but it seemed like after they posted the picture of me, they'd either stop or they'd make a couple posts saying they weren't feeling good and had to go away for a while. Eventually, I stopped trying to contact everybody sharing it because it was just too many. Hundreds of them, and I knew they'd forget about it eventually and it would die down. It's just a picture. None of those people knew me, and I didn't know them, and I never would. I stayed off the internet for a while, and that helped me feel better. Lammy's Facebook was the first thing I checked on when I finally got back on. I didn't know what to expect since she hadn't come on back on Skype either. Turned out she'd killed herself. The page was full of her friends and family saying how sorry they were, how she'd be missed. She was beautiful, you know, and my photo. She'd never taken it down. I didn't really look at the comments, but I bet it's still there if you want to. And then it just hit me out of nowhere. That it might be my fault. That she did this because she saw me and the other blogs that all posted about it. And I looked some of them up too, and I calmed down a little that it was the same. The photo of them and then just either nothing or a couple posts. Sometimes they said goodbye, but most of the posts just stopped. Everywhere was just people saying they couldn't sleep, that they were sick or anxious or feeling scared. I knew it was ridiculous. I mean, I look awful. I know that. But I didn't think people would kill themselves just for looking at me. I did go outside sometimes, and I'd see people and nothing happened to them. Hell, sorry. You're looking at me now and you're not. I even thought a couple times that maybe if I was dead, the effect would stop, but I couldn't know for sure, so I don't really want to die. Sometimes I think I do, but I don't really. I hadn't thought about it in a long time. Mostly I didn't know if anybody'd come for me. And I just rot in my bathtub or whatever. Seemed too sad to go through with. I don't know what to think. I know it's crazy, but I think it was the photo. I got rid of it, but I can't take it down from anywhere else. It's been posted, and more people are gonna see it, and I can't do anything. And that's all I gotta say about it. I haven't gone back to any of those places or taken any more photos since then. I'm not a bad person. I never meant to hurt people. I just wanted to feel good about myself. That's all anybody ever wants. That's so sad that it had to happen. Hi, Pit Pat. Can I help you? Are you being small and baby? Are you being small and... I'm gonna read you all one more creepypasta. I'm gonna read you all's the creepypasta that I wrote last year. Ify's special creepypasta just for you. Let me pull it up. It is on my Tumblr's blog. And with that, we can call it a night and have a good night's sleepy Halloweens. Can I help you, Pit Pat? This one is so scary, so don't get scared, okay? It might seem like there's ghosts or goblins that are gonna get to you, but it's okay. They're not actually real, and they're not actually gonna get you. It's all just made up make-believe. Okay? You're gonna be safe. You're gonna be safe, and it's gonna be okay. Once upon a time, it was 1994. It was really happened. It was dark because it was nighttime. And I was named Jonathan Bonathan because I just moved to this new town. The neighbors were all nice. Anyway, it was dark out, but I thought I saw something moving in the shadows all scary-like. But then I laughed to myself. Haha. Everyone knows things can't move at night, I thought to myself, so I ignored it, and I went to bed. The next morning, I didn't feel so good. It was like something bad had happened to my body, evil scary. There were marks like stripes on my arms, but a dark purple like a bruised. That was when I realized that there were 5 of them, just like 5 fingers. It was like a hand has grabbed me very hard by the hand. It was way too big. I went to the doctor and asked, "Hey doc, what do you make of this?" And he said, "Sorry, this is the first time I've ever seen anything like it. We're gonna have to run some tests." So they had me stay overnight at the hospital. Luigi House, but it mansion. Later it was dark because the sun went down, but I was at the hospital this time and not my house. I called my wife and kids earlier and told them, "Babies, I love you, but I have to stay at the hospital tonight. It'll be okay. The doctor just wants to run some tests. Eat the leftover spaghetti, okay?" And they said, "Jonathan, Dad, we love you. Stay safe and don't get grabbed real hard, okay?" And I laughed. What a funny thing to say. I didn't think about it too hard, but that was my mistake that I made. Anyway, back at the dark hospital nighttime, I was asleep, but I woke up for some reason. It was strange to be at a hospital at night, because usually I'm at my house at night. The hospital night was even stranger, because I thought I heard something moving. I don't remember what happened next. All I remember is what happened next is I woke up and the doctor and nurses were all there and they looked worried style at me. "Mr. Bonathan, did anything happen to you last night?" they asked. "How are you feeling?" Well, I was feeling all right, so I said, "I feel all right. I think I'm probably okay to go home now." And the doctor wrote something on his clipboard and the light from the hospital lights glinted across his glasses so that I couldn't see his eyes. "Mr. Bonathan, we're going to need you to stay one more night for the tests." So I replied, a little worried, but not too worried. "Well, okay, doctor, you're the expert." So I stayed once more night at the hospital and my family probably ate all the spaghetti, but this time, well, this is where things started to get weird. That night at the hospital, it was dark again. I woke up from my sleep and all of the lights were darkened. There wasn't a sound or a sight or even a smell even. It was like the whole world had vanished except for me and the hospital bed I was sleeping in and the very large scary man standing next to me. I was so afraid I almost screamed. I opened my mouth and I screamed, but no sound came out. The figure was looming over my bed and I tried not to look at it, but I had to look at it. It was like a human man, but larger, and something about it wasn't quite right. Too many teeth, lots. Too many arms, 4. Not enough eyes, none. Everything was long. Pit-Pat, how did you get there? Gamers, Pit-Pat did me a jump scare. My cats haven't been on the windowsill in a very long time. And Pit-Pat just went up and peeked out from behind the blinds, and I did for a second think that somebody was just reaching in through the window of this room from the dark night. That's not allowed. Pit-Pat, please get off of my printer. Come here. Come on. Down from here. I pick you up. I put you down. Go to bed now, okay? Blood was there too, and it was scary. I screamed so loud it didn't make a sound. Then the thing, it grasped my arm, its fingers perfectly overlapping the purple striped bruises from earlier in the story. Then it squeezed. I screamed. Why wasn't the doctor coming to help? There was a strange arm man monster in my room, and he was hurting me, and I was screaming. Where were the police? Then the lights flickered on, and I wished they didn't. The whole room was filled with spiders and blood, and the arm man kept getting larger and gripping tighter, and I knew that he was taking all of my blood, and that if I lost all my blood, I would die, which is bad. So I fought back with all I had. I kicked, and I punched, and I screamed, and I scratched, and I punched, and that was when I got an idea. This thing may have a lot of teeth, but I have teeth of my own. So I bit it. That seemed to do the trick. The creature let out a blood-curdling scream that curdled all the blood and spiders in the room. Then it did this really cool effect where it kind of like black hole imploded in upon itself. After that, I sleep. In the morning, the doctor came to check up on me. "Well, Mr. Bonathan, the tests came back negative. Probably just an allergic reaction and will clear up in a couple of days. You can go home now, bye." Normally, the hospital bill would also be a scary part of the story, but I have good insurance for my job, so it was okay. When I went home, my wife and kids were worried about me, but happy to see me. I tucked them into bed and tucked myself into bed, but shivered, thinking about the whole experience. That thing may have imploded once, but it could still be out there. No one knows where it came from or why it was grabbing my arm and taking all my blood. Or maybe what if there are more of them also? Much too scary to think about. Don't worry, it's not real. The beasts cannot actually get you. It's okay. It's okay and it's safe, actually. It's safe and it's okay and nothing can get you bad, Scary. And so, it's time to go to bed. Thank you all for joining me on this Halloween's Eve. Thank you for listening to Scarium's stories. Thank you for learning about the Evil Red and Godzilla. Thank you for the raids. Thank you for the rebubscribes. Thank you for the lurkers and the VOD watchers. I say this once, I say this again. You are the most powerful people on Twitch.tv. We have survived the Halloween month. There's going to be one more scary-ish stream. Sunday, I think. I don't know when. Maybe like Sunday morning-ish. Sunday afternoon-ish. I say morning, but it will be like afternoon. It'll be earlier in the day, but I am not waking up early. I guess time, because of the time change, maybe it'll be earlier. I'll figure it out. We have to beat Gary. We tried to get all the secrets in Faith, but the boss was hard and I couldn't beat it. So we're gonna have Ify fights the guy until we win the stream on Sunday. I'll post what time that is in the Discord. Next week, regular times streams. Monday, Index has changed the game, so we will be having Minesweeper Monday, where I play Minesweeper on Monday. I don't know how to play Minesweeper. I have a sort of very loose understanding of Minesweeper, and we're gonna figure it out together. You're believing in you could so fight a Gary. If we hadn't already been going like an hour or two overtime last stream, I would have kept trying, but it was bed's time. So we're doing a super separate Gary fight. We'll see how long it takes. If this is gonna be like, it takes 2 tries and then we get him, or if it takes like an hour, but we're just gonna have a fight where we just fight Gary. Monday, Minesweeper, 7 p.m. Pacific, normal style. Wednesday, I don't know what we're playing Wednesday. It's time to start a new game, because we'll have finished Faith over the weekend. Maybe I'll pick a new game. Maybe we'll just have like a one-off, like a karaoke stream or a doodle stream or something. But I'll figure that out. I'll figure that out at some point. And then Friday, we're back to Knuckle Sandwich. I'm very excited to learn more about goblins and joblins and Knuckles Sandwich. I hope we don't have to kill and cook any more people. It'll probably be fine. But I'm glad you all survived. I'm glad you all survived the ghoulish month of Ghouliween. Knuckle Sandwich. Is anybody awake and alive on this Halloween for us to raid? Is anybody still up and alive and awake for us to raid on this Halloween? I see Morden playing Halloween Repo. I see Katsu playing a short hike. I see... Let's go raid Morden. Let's go give Morden a little drops in. Everyone have a good night. Everyone have a good sleep. Everyone have a good dreams. Don't get scared by scary stories. Remember that you're always safe and sound, tucked cozy in your bed. And it's safe month. Everything is safe in November. Good night, good night, good night. Good night, good night, good night. Good night, 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 good night.